Hello, guys. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. So we have a really fun hybrid today. For those of you who observed the first group, we only had Sally in person. Um, and from the afternoon group, we actually have four so far. We're supposed to have a fifth. So here at the house, which is really exciting, really fun. So so you might not see as many cameras. You might see their cameras. Just know that the squares might change a bit just as they go on and off camera. Um, but really, it's just a lot of fun. Um, we have Joy here today, and Joy is from my first eLevate. And so I'm just going to spotlight Joy and I. So Joy is here to assist me making sure people are in, that people are muted, because if you are accidentally unmuted and then you're yelling at your cat, like we can all hear it on the recording forever. So Joy, do you have any advice for them? It's their first day.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you have any advice for them? It's their first day.
Listen to Leslie. There is no one in the world like Leslie. So
Oh,
follow along, do what you can, listen to your body. You'll be good.
yeah. Yeah, I love all that advice. Thank you, Joy. So Joy will be with us today just to assist on making sure, like we're spotlit when we're supposed to be spotlit, that I hit record when I'm supposed to, all that stuff. So thank you, Joy, for being here. Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. This weekend can be overwhelming. Um, at the beginning, it can feel full of like anxious excitement. And then somewhere towards getting tired, we can sometimes be hard on ourselves. Please remember, and if you are listening to the AM group, like you're not performing for me, you're not performing for each other. You are not actually here to impress anyone. This is for your practice that will elevate your teaching and your understanding of the method. No apologizing for questions you have to ask. Just ask them, because it's really important that you get your answer. And if you are unable to move your body, I know it gets late in the day for the PM. Please just listen to that. It's really okay. Now, if it's hard, that's fine. That's very different than hurt, right? Also, with exercises that are not right for your body, just skip them. You don't need to do what you're not supposed to do, what you can't do, all that kind of stuff. Um, it's more important that you understand where you're at than like judging yourself for how far you have to go. It's just like, this is where we're at today, right? And every day is a new day for our body. This will be my second mat class for the day. So obviously it's going to look different than those of you who haven't moved yet. Um, so with that said, is there anything else I wanted to tell you? Yeah, have fun. Okay. I second everything Joy said. So, Joy, let's mute you. We'll keep me unmuted. And then I'm going to remove this spotlight. So here's the deal. If you're not going to take class, um, because for whatever reason, you don't have to tell me, then please turn your camera off. So on the recording, we just have the people moving. And then PM people, you can turn your camera back on. Okay. And then, yeah, we don't have to spotlight anything. Joy, we hit record. Okay. So basically, it'll just be all the movers that are on. All right. And Joy, can you still see the participants section?
I'm just checking off who's here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just keep that window open just in case anyone jumps in while I'm doing class. Okay, guys. So here we go. One of you guys can be up here if you want. There's a dowel. You guys need dowels. Sue, do you have a dowel in there? Okay, great. Oh, you need one? Okay, thanks. All right, guys, start at the top of your mat. If you can start standing, that's a good idea. Cross one arm over the other, one leg over the other. And then lower yourself down to the mat. Oh, lie all the way back. Go ahead and give yourself a big stretch. Circle the ankles, circle the wrists. All right, and then take your arms up to the ceiling. Let your low ribs take up space on the mat and just notice how your body is laying, what's touching the mat, what's not touching the mat. Squeeze your ankles together, point your toes, and take your arms overhead as far as they can go with your low ribs on the mat. Then take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift your head, chest, maybe your legs up for your 100. And breathe in for 5 and out for 5. And I'm not going to give you a ton of corrections or cues in this workout because we're just going to move, right? And you get to notice what's going on in your body. 5 more cycles of breathing. All right, last exhale, then lower the legs down, flex the ankles, take the arms up overhead, grab your dowel. And if you have a strap, you'll use it. If you don't worry about it. Take your arms overhead and then lift your head and chest up. Exhale over the legs, pulse 3 times. Squeeze the legs together, roll back down, and again, up and over those legs, pulse, and then roll it down. One more. If you're not doing rollover, then keep doing your roll up. So get rid of your dowel. Take your arms into your handles or down by your mat. If you have like a yoga mat, you can actually grab the sides and pull it apart. And then take the legs overhead together with pointed feet. Once they're over, flex the ankles, open the legs, point the toes, and roll it down. Circle the legs together, go over, flex the ankles, open, point the toes, and roll down. Circle the legs together, go over, flex the ankles, open, point the toes, and roll it down. Reverse. Open the legs with pointed feet, reach them overhead, squeeze the legs together with flexed ankles, point the toes, and roll it down. Take the legs away, lift them up with pointed feet, flex the ankles to squeeze, point the toes, roll down. One more time. And roll down. Leave your right leg in the air, put your left foot on the mat, flex your left ankle, and then take your right leg across your body first, circle down, around, and up, and across, around, and up. After 3, reverse. So open out to the side, around and up, open, around and up, open, and then scissor switch the legs. So the right foot's on the mat flexed, the left foot is pointed, circle around and lift, and circle it around and lift. One more, and you go out to the sides. We always go across the midline first to gather up our strength. Once you're even, you can just sit on up, grab your legs, and then roll like a ball. So push your shins into your hands into your shins, rock back, and come up. And rock back, and up. One more. Squeeze those heels together. Awesome. Left hand on your left ankle, right hand on your left shin, right leg out. Look at the level of your eyes. Then keep it as you roll your back down to your shoulder blades. Yep. Then pull on your left leg 2 times. Switch, pull, pull, switch. Pull, 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 pull. Last one. If you need a rest, take it. We're going to keep going. Double leg stretch. Heels together. Pull 2 times. 1, 2. Reach. Circle around. Pull, pull. Reach. Circle around. Pull, pull. Reach. Circle around. Single straight leg stretch. Legs up. Grab your ankle as high as you can. Pull on it. 1, 2. Switch. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. One more time each side. Hands behind your head. Interlace them. Lower the legs and lift the legs. So the head's pushing into the hands push into the head. Yep, make sure they're fully interlaced. I promise you it makes it stronger in your upper back. And then crisscross. One knee in, armpit to knee. Opposite armpit to knee. Switch. Curl higher to switch. And switch. I promise you to sit up. And one more time each side. Woo. Spine stretch forward. Fun fact, I like to think of the spine stretch forward. Once we're done with this, we have warmed up. You feel warm? Yeah, sometimes that heat actually does work in this house. So there you go. Round forward, pulse 1, 2, 3, and lift. Legs as wide as the mat. And again, 1, 2, 3, and lift. And again, round 1, 2, 3, and up. Last time, round 1, 2, 3, and up. Wonderful. Okay, repeat what you've done or join me in open leg rocker. Lift the legs, grab on, rock back, and come up. Oh, there's a pop back there. Carrie, are you okay? Okay, wonderful. Rock back and come up. Tight space here. All right, stay up. Squeeze your legs together. Push them apart. Yep, any version of straight legs works for me. Push them apart. One more time. Flex the ankles, grab the toes or reach for them. Rock back and up. And rock back and up. And rock back and up. Ooh, okay. Point the toes, roll your upper back down, corkscrew. If you have handles, use them. If not, pull on the sides of your mat. We'll take the legs to the right. There's two ways to do this, right? We can lift the hips or not. So we'll keep the hips down for the first one. Take the legs to the right, circle them around to the left, and then left around to the right. And if you want to go up, you can. Then you roll down partway through center. Take the legs down to the right, around to the left, and lift, and then roll halfway down to the left, around to the right. One more time, either the hips up or down. Awesome. All right. Sit on up. Take your legs wider than your mat. Soft. Arms go wide to the side. Twist to the right. You can high five each other over there. Pulse 1, 2, 3. Roll up in the twist. Unwind. Twist left and around. 1, 2, 3. Lift in the twist. Unwind. Twist. Palms face down. Even the back one. You're going to reach your arms from your back. Last time. Roll up. Flip onto your stomach. We're going to work through. Joy, can you unspotlight me so it's gallery? I want all the cameras on. So you guys, we're gonna layer the hands. So we'll do several different swans here. So layer the hands and then let the shoulders relax down. So you can stay at whatever swan feels good to you. Reach the tailbone down, inner thighs up, and then lift your hands, head and chest up. Just the hands, head and chest, and lower down. So the legs aren't going to lift. The legs are going to anchor down, so you'll feel your hamstrings working actually. And lift your hands, head and chest, and lower. And one more, lift and lower. Now you can stick with that, or take your hands on the handles if you have them, or if you don't, you just take your hands from underneath your shoulders a little wider than your mat. And then lift your chest forward and up. And lower it down. And lift the chest forward and up. And lower it down. One more time, forward and up. This time, you can keep doing that, or you shoot the arms out, lift the legs, and catch. Shoot and catch. And take the arms wide to the side instead of forward. It's actually more possible for a swan. And then if you want, you keep doing that, or you just rock 3 times. 1 and 2 and 3. And then we all sit back, find a counter stretch, head towards your knees, reach for your feet. This is Joe's big stretch. It's just an upside down rolling like a ball. And then slide out onto the forearms. Pull the heart forward. Reach your pubic bone down, right? Lift your chest and then kick, kick. And then reach and then kick, kick. And reach and kick, kick. And reach, kick, kick. And kick, kick. One more. And then lower down. Take your hands high up on your back for double leg kick. And then both legs go 1, 2, 3. Then reach the legs down, lift the arms up. Lower, look the other way. Kick 1, 2, 3. Reach the legs down, lift the arms up. And again, 1, 2, 3. Reach. And last 1, 2, 3, and reach. All right, sit back. Another counter stretch. And roll up. All right, thigh stretch. Grab a dowel if you have it. Knees underneath your hips, shoulders are over your hips. Arms go up. Then lower your arms to lean back. Lift your arms to come up. Big stretch of the legs. Squeeze your legs towards each other as you lean back. And lift. And again, squeeze and lift. Ooh, one more. Okay, neck pull. If you have a strap, use it. If not, good luck. Don't ask yourself to do things that are impossible. Just do the best you can. So flex your ankles. They're hip distance apart. Dig the heels down. Interlace the hands behind your head. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale over your legs and pulse 1, 2, 3. Inhale, sit tall. And then pull your waist back, back, back. Tap the mat, round forward and over. 1, 2, 3. Lift. Pull the waist back. Get taller as you go back. Tap down, come back up. Last one. Thank goodness we only do 3. And lift. And then pull it back, back, back. Okay. Bicycles and bicycle, if that's not in your practice, please do anything else that was a challenge for you, okay? So elbows into the mat, palms are facing your face, right? Bring the knees into your chest, lift the hips and take the legs up. And then reach one leg to the ceiling and one leg away from your face. And one leg to the ceiling and one leg away. So there's no splits happening. It's like 3 inches maybe. And then go into the bicycle, you reach the leg so far away it has to bend and tries to scrape the mat. And then reverse. Reach and reach and reach and reach and lift the legs up. Turn the hands to the side, bend the knees. And then you come down from a thigh stretch, right? If you've crash landed, it's really okay. So your hands can stay underneath your hips if you can guide your pelvis. If it bothers your wrist, just put them down by your side. Take one leg out, point the foot, kick it up, flex, lower it down. Point up, flex it down. Point up, flex, slide it back. Other leg goes up, flex and lower. Point it up, and flex and lower. Point it up, and flex it down, slide it back. Take your hands up, roll your hips down, and sit up. Awesome. Spine twist. Legs together, arms wide to the side, palms down, twist to the right, 2, 3, unwind, then twist to the left, 2, 3, and then twist to the right, 2, 3, and then twist to the left, 2, 3. One more time each way. Awesome. Okay. Jackknife. Lie down. By the way, if you don't do overhead, you can do rolling like a ball or anything else that was a challenge for you. Arms are either down by your side or into your handles. Take the legs over parallel to the floor, then up, and then roll down with the toes over the eyes, and then lower the legs. Take the legs over, then up, and then roll it down. Take the legs lowered, move them over, then up. And then, so it's a fast over and up, and it's a slow, stretchy descent. Awesome. Side leg kicks. So slide your elbow in line with your shoulder, in line with your back, feet to the front. Take your top hand in front of you or behind your head and kick it leg to the front 1, 2, and to the back 1, 2. And the front 1, 2, and the back 1, 2. And again, forward 1, 2, and back. Top leg over the bottom leg, kick it up with a turnout, flex, squeeze it down with the turnout. Point up, flex down. Point up, flex down. Holy moly, take the leg back, little circles, and then reverse. And then top leg over the bottom leg. Now big circles, up, around, and together. Up, around, and together. Up, around, and together. Reverse. Back, up, and around 1. Back, up, and around 2. One more. Awesome. You can just roll over and go to the other side. I'm going to slip around just so my butt isn't to you. Awesome. Here we go. Elbow, shoulder, hip, legs forward, and front, front, back, back, front, front, and back, back. The leg can only go back as far as the chest stays still. Yeah. All right. Turn the leg out, point, kick it up, flex, squeeze it down, point up, up, flex, squeeze it down, point up, up, flex, squeeze it down. Take the leg back and draw little circles back here. And then reverse them. And then bring your legs together. Forward, up, back, and around. 1. So you're just connecting the dots. 2. And 3. Reverse. Back, up, and around. 1. 2. Oh my God, the second side sucks. 3. Oh, okay. Here we go. Teasers. So any version of teaser that you want to do. We have 9 total reps. 3 of the first, second, and third. Squeeze the legs together. Point the toes. Take the arms overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come up to a teaser. Lift the arms up, leave the legs there, roll the upper body down, and lift the upper body up. Lift the arms up, roll the upper body down, and lift the upper body up. 1 more. Woo. And then come up and lower and lift the legs. No one complains about teaser in the next half hour because I've done them twice today. Lower everything down and everything up, and everything down and everything up. And 1 more time. And you come up, hands go behind you. Okay. So fingers face away, hip circles. Now, ideally they're on their mat and behind you, you're like upright into a teaser. But if that's too much, you go wide and back and wide and back until you can get yourself to a place you can hold your legs up. There's no low that's too low. And then circle legs. So go wider, carry, and back with your arms. Wider and back. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. And then the circles don't have to be huge, but they're as big as you can make them. And then after 3 in each direction, reach arms forward and lower everything down. Whew. All right, flip onto your stomach. Arms in front of you, legs behind you. Reach your tailbone long, lift your hands, head, and chest up, and then opposite arm and leg. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And then sit back, head towards your knee. So here's the cool thing. You're now 2/3 of the way through. Tuck the toes. Take the arms out in front of you. Find a plank. All right, lift 1 leg up, rock back, forward, switch. Other leg up, back, forward, switch. Rock back, forward, switch. And back, forward, switch. Fancy transition or just flip over. Left hand goes into the center of the mat. Right hand turns to the left, goes to the left side of the mat behind the left arm. Right foot goes under the left leg and you swivel. And you think about it, or you kick a leg forward. Less up, more forward. More forward. More forward. And then slide a leg under. All right. Hip over knee, shoulder over wrist, and top hand behind your head. Lift the top leg up. Let's go to the front and to the back, and to the front and to the back. Front and back, and then 3 circles in each direction. Awesome. Bicycle. Take the leg back, bend the knee, pull the bent knee through, kick it forward. Take the leg back, bend the knee, pull the bent knee through, kick it forward. 1 more time. Awesome. Reverse. Reach it back, kick it out, bring the straight leg forward. Bend the knee, reach a bent knee back, kick it out, or reach it forward. If you hate this one, me too. And then over the other side. Just a long time to work that leg. Tip over, other side. All right, lift the top leg up, go to the front and to the back, and to the front and to the back, and back, and then circle and circle, and then reverse it. And then take the leg back, bend the knee, pull the bent knee through, kick. Take the leg back, bend the knee, pull the bent knee through, kick, And then reverse. Reach a straight leg forward, pull the knee in, reach a bent knee back. Whew. One more. And up. Side bend. People ask me why I don't do cardio. This is why. Make sure your hand is in line with your feet. Stacked foot is harder. Staggered foot, top foot forward, more possible. Take your top arm, palm up, and we lift up using the bottom hip. And then you bend your knees and pull it down. And again, up and bend your knees and pull it down. And up, bend your knees, pull it down. Kick those legs over the other side. And here we go. Lift and bend. And lift and bend. And lift and bend. Lucky you guys didn't have to do the extra thing. Sorry, we skipped it on the first side. We'll get it on the second workout. Okay. Boomerang. So now we're in the rolling sequence. So your boomerang, you're trying to roll it. If you think open leg rocker is hard, do open leg rocker instead, okay? Take your hands by your hips, cross the ankles, Carrie, watch the pot, round forward, kick the legs overhead, and then switch the cross with dynamics. And then round forward, head is chasing the legs, reach arms behind you and pulse 3 times, hopefully to slow the legs down. Okay, here we go. No stopping. Take it back, switch the cross, and around, and reach the arms behind you, and go back, switch the cross, and reach those arms behind you. One more. Go back, switch the cross, and round forward, reach behind you. Bend those knees. Grab your feet. Seal. So you open and close the legs. The inner feet touch. And then you rock back, and you try 1 to 3 beats back here. And you come up, and 1 to 3 beats up here. And you go back, and 1 to 3, and you come up, 1, 2, 3, and you go back, 1, 2, 3, and then you cross the ankles, and you might round forward for a crab. If you want to just do the back half of crab, it's totally fine. Lift your center up, rock back, balance on your shoulders, push the legs open, and the arms will open, and then you grab on, and you come up, and you do it again. And you rock back, and you reach, and you rock forward, and you reach, and you rock back, and you reach. Good. Okay. Palm up, flip over onto your stomach, rocking or anything you can do on your stomach. Grab your feet, roll your shoulders back, reach your tailbone down, and then push your feet back to lift your chest. And then rock and rock and rock and rock. And then sit back, round your spine. Flip over, last 2 exercises. Control balance or anything else that was challenging for you. Ready? Roll over. I like single straight leg stretch here. Grab your right ankle with your hands. Take your left leg up. Stand your shoulders and switch. Reach up, up, not forward, and switch. Reach up, 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 and switch. Whew. And reach, and reach. And then roll up to standing. All right, heels together, toes apart. Arms go up. They go around, and then they land in front of your feet. And you walk out 1, 2, 3, 4. Bend your elbows back 1 time. Head in. Walk back 1, 2, 3, 4. Arms by your ears, roll it up. Circle around, hands go in front of the feet. Walk out 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 elbow bends. Head in, walk back 1, 2, 3, 4, and roll it up. Last time. Walk out 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 elbow bends. And walk it back. 2, 3. Roll it up. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a high five. Get some water. Okay. If you're in the PM group and your camera off, you can bring your camera back on. So what I want you to do is take a moment to write down the exercises that were just not easy for you to do, like challenging, you have questions about. We're gonna do questions in just a moment. Also, like celebrate what you did do. Maybe it's that you showed up and you did it, right? But like take a moment to celebrate all of that. And then you got about 2 minutes to do all that and get resettled. All right, loves, who has aha moments, questions, things they want to share? I was going to say, yeah, go ahead, Laura, you can unmute.
Okay. Um, so I find it goes so fast that I barely have time to think about the exercise before the next one comes up. So I felt like I just did a sloppy job on everything.
Great. You're
Not
probably going
great.
too, I think, no, I think you're probably going too slow. That's the problem with most teachers. They're trying to get everything figured out and fixed in one exercise. You can't do that. You don't even have all the connections. Like, so it's not that it goes fast, also because I could see everyone keeping up. It's that you're trying to make every exercise the best. And that's great. But we have to allow our bodies to, first of all, they have to warm up. So those first 10 exercises are really designed to like get you connected to your center. You're not even supposed to be perfect with 100, right? If you nail 100 one day, maybe you were really warmed up from the day before or you're really connected, but like it's gonna be hot mess. And then the other things are like really there. First of all, the roll up and the roll over, they're like stretch your back out. So there's not really anything perfect to get at it. They roll in like a ball, stretches your back out, gets you in your center, right? The single leg circles are going to open up those hips. The ab series is like going to help get your abs ready to go against gravity. And what I find is people take too long to go between exercises that they actually lose everything and their mind wanders. And so
Mm,
really the more you can practice picking up the pace and having a rhythm. If you notice each exercise has a rhythm, some of them go a little slow, some go fast, slow. If you can do that, you actually will feel less sloppy and more like you're in a dance. And I hate that word because it's like performance, but like even a sport, right? Like football players, soccer players, they do all these drills in practice. So what when they get to the game, like their body just reacts to things. That's what you want to think about. Now, there is a difference between understanding the choreography and slowing down to learn that and be a beginner at that, and then being in flow and seeing what happens. And tomorrow we'll do a 1 rep drill, which is going to make you feel like a total fish out of water. But the goal of that rep, that drill, is to help you understand transitions and getting into the exercise because the biggest problem I see with people in Pilates is that they take too long to get into the exercise. And so then they have to regather everything up. And then they're doing a checklist. My shoulders down? Is my head up? My ribs in? Are my legs here? Is this going on? And it's like, that's your basic muscles can't actually sustain that length of time. They only can work in movements and for short bursts. So I totally hear you. I totally get it. And you're gonna hate it for a while, but I promise you, you'll love it because there's something really cool about going, all right, that one wasn't great. Okay. Well, by the end at SEAL, are you still having the same problems you had in rolling like a ball? Right? Because that's the goal. Like if by SEAL, it was better than you rolling like a ball, you nailed it. Right? Like if jackknife was better than double straight leg stretch, way to go. Right? So like the goal is that we build up all the things so that these hard stuff come and we can do them. Yeah. But thank you for sharing that. I'm sure other people felt the same way. What else? Not Vicky, Anne had herself unmuted before.
I actually could do more than I thought I could do because when I practiced with the videos of 50 Cent, I was like, oh, I'm not good at this. But when it was flowing, it's my body felt a little more comfortable than trying to isolate.
Great. That's wonderful, Anne. Way to go with it.
Yeah.
Way to surprise yourself.
Yeah. It was a good surprise.
Yeah. Anne, remind me where you're from.
I'm from Utah.
And we saw each other in Utah.
We did.
Okay, great. I
Awesome.
gotta place you again. It was so fun. That was so fun. Okay. Awesome. Who else wants to go? Carrie, go ahead.
Mind the leg extension and the rolling, all of those that includes that are the biggest challenge. But I also have injuries on both of those. Not sure if that's actual body limitation or if that's mind limitation of just knowing that's there and really being able to work through those things.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a little both, you know. So I think it's important to honor injuries and not force ourselves between them, but also sometimes we let our injuries be like a barricade. Can't ever do it again. And so we just have to listen to your body. If it's hurting, that's different than hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Who else?
I'll
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
it's all awesome. I had something to learn on every single exercise, so I'm excited to kind of keep reviewing so I can start, taking that in more. So awesome.
Wonderful. I think that's a great attitude. Um and it's important to it's seen as possibilities. Thank you. Who else? I want one more.
Hi,
Hey.
am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Okay, can't tell. Okay. Uh, I had a empathy moment. So I drove in from LA this morning, like got up at like 3, drove for like 4 hours, and then sat through the first group. And I say that because I'm a hypermobile body, so my body usually feels super yummy, 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 no matter what I do with it. But I was shocked. My body felt so tight, and moving at that pace without giving myself time to like ease into it. I thought, oh my gosh, this is what my clients feel like coming in from their 9 to 5s, and it just gave me a good reminder, like you never know what your clients are coming in with that day, and the body they show up today is not the body they're able to come in tomorrow with, or yesterday's body. And so just putting that like bigger perspective, like don't judge your body based on yesterday or today, just what is it today. And so I just had to give myself a little grace, because I was like, what is happening? I don't know what's happening in my body. But just to give myself and others that grace, because every day is different. So that was a good aha moment.
I love that. It's so true. You know, everyone, like, our bodies are different throughout the day, you know? So, like, it's just, the more we can get out of, like, I have to be good at this, and we actually just have to connect to this. And then also, you know, sometimes we get really excited to cue and correct and fix things. And really, the more we can just observe and go, well, that looks really tight. Okay, you know, and then watch again. Oh, here comes that same shape coming up in an exercise, and oh, it's still really tight. And oh, here we go again, and it's still really tight. Okay, then there's something to work on there. But if, oh, it's really tight, and then 3 exercises later, oh, that looks better. Okay, well, there's nothing to correct because the body is fixing itself, right? And like we get to be these really great observers. And the more we can observe in our own bodies how we are feeling and how exercises feel, that empathetic part of what Christine was saying, like then when we look at our clients moving, we can go, that doesn't really feel good to me. You know, like we can go, like we can feel their body in our body. And go, that doesn't like feel really good to me. You know, my teacher Jay, obviously the last several years of his life were not his best Pilates years. But one of the things he would say when I was moving, he would go, Leslie, that feels so good. Because he would like feel my movement. And he'd go, I was doing side bend once, and he goes, you know, I can't do it. And I don't like how you're doing it because it doesn't feel good in my body. So it can't feel good to you. So what do you need to do to make that feel better? You know, and like that became this really cool thing where like he would feel in his body what I was doing before he would give corrections. And he can be, even though his practice wasn't doing those exercises anymore, because he knew what it could feel like, then he could give me the best teaching. And that is my challenge for you guys. You know, it's going to be really difficult for you to get out of your old habits or how you think it was supposed to go or how it was told to you how it was supposed to go. And what you think you should be able to do by now in your Pilates career. And instead, where's your body at today? What feels good? And when it feels good, can we challenge ourselves more? And when it's not feeling good, okay, well, then what do we have to omit? What do we have to repeat? Right? And that's going to be how we keep doing this together as a group. So, okay, anything else? Any other questions, worries, aha moments? And by the way, for my girls who are, yeah, you guys can be here. Okay. I was like, I didn't want to make sure anyone's like in a corner, like in a cubby. Perfect. Okay. So anyone else have questions, comments, aha moments, worries, concerns? Vero, are you raising your hand? Yeah. The sunlight is so perfect on you. Oh my God, you have such cute dogs.
They're also very clingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I think the struggle with a lot of like internal negative narrative about
Mhm.
what you're capable of, what you're not capable of, and just
Mhm.
coming, from way back, from your initial training and the way it was approached at that point. So
Yeah,
kind of overcoming that is hard.
I agree. My first teacher trainer was a bitch. And I never name her because she's still out in the circuit and people think she's fabulous. I think she's a bully. And sometimes I have to present on the same stage as her. And it's really annoying. And there are still some times when I'm struggling with something that I remember her being mean to me about, like I hear it. I'm like, fuck, 20 years later, what the hell? And then I get to remind myself that I've chosen different people to be in my mind. And I've chosen to surround myself with different people. And so what I can tell you here is that what this group always attracts is people who are going to support you. Like people are always going to support you. And that is why we have a Slack group, so that when you're having like a moment in your body, you can just be like, this is how I'm feeling right now. And someone else is going to go, I feel the same way too. And then you can go, let's just move at the same time on Zoom, but not teach each other, but let's just move, right? And like, so I think it's really important that you know, like, that's what's so cool about this space is you're not the only one and you are a brave one to say it. But like, I promise you, like, everyone has a story they're telling themselves about an exercise in their body, or a story they're telling themselves about their body because a teacher said something to them, right? And so it can be difficult. And what I would just say is just notice it and then just remind like, you tell, what story do you want to tell yourself? You know, because I heard this thing one time, like our first way of thinking about something is what was ingrained in us, either from a parent or a mentor. But our second thought can be what we want to repattern. Right. So yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And Pilates is so difficult because all these dancers made it popular. And so everyone thinks that Pilates makes you look like that, but that's how they looked when they came in. Like Jay made me laugh so hard because Ron Fletcher opened a studio in LA. That's where all the celebrities went. And they were so skinny. And like they used to say, oh, we were so busy and we didn't even have our phone number in the phone book. Well, the truth is they forgot to apply to put their phone number in the phone book. And that's why they weren't there. They got really busy. But Jay would get all these clients who are like, I want to look like this person. They go here. And Jay goes, they walked in that way and they smoke cigarettes. So if you want to smoke cigarettes and not eat, you can look like that too at Pilates. But this is what your body is. And like he had a client who, you guys, she had to be over 250 pounds. She was taller than me, big woman. She came in 35 years ago. She's like, that's what I want to look like. And I heard you could do it. And Jay said to her, that is impossible for your body. It's never going to happen. But I can make you the strongest version of you. And that woman was doing short spine. She was doing rowing. She was doing all these things that people might say, oh, her body can't do that. Her body can't. Jay didn't believe that. He watched her body. And he saw how strong she was and he taught that. And so my goal here is to really help all of you guys. Just the drink is fine for now. Thank you. Is to help all of you guys really understand how you feel in your body and then take that to your clients. And then when you hear your clients say the same thing that you say to yourself in your head, you get to go, oh, I know how that feels. I know that. And you get to correct. What is our purpose here? Our purpose is not to do these exercises perfectly ever. Our goal here is to be able to do life as long as possible. And these exercises help us. And we started with the mat because it is the fucking hardest. And it's what Joseph Pilates wanted us to do first. This was his intention. This is what he thought we would all do. This is what he wrote to Kennedy about. The world should be doing these exercises. And truthfully, while they seem like to be the least accessible to all bodies on day one, it is the most accessible practice because you actually can just do it on the floor with a towel, right? So like as far as movements go in the world, like it's there. Now, what's weird is people allow themselves to go to the gym and pick up a 10-pound weight and think it's too heavy and still go. They'll still go. They'll go, that 10-pound weight is so heavy. They'll grab a 5-pound and do that until it feels easy. And then they grab a 10-pound. For whatever reason, when people come to Pilates and they can't do an exercise, like, oh, it's too, I can't do that. Not today. We have to do a 5-pound weight first. So I'm showing you guys the whole repertoire, but that doesn't mean you do the whole repertoire. If you were listening to the AM group, I was telling one of the amazing women there, I was like, if you only have 8 exercises that are in your practice right now on the mat, you do those 8 really well. You do them all the time and you celebrate that because those 8 are going to compound to 18 really quickly. They just do because your body opens up and it gets stronger. So we just have to be really kind to ourselves about what we're doing here. Jay did not do Pilates to do Pilates. He did it so he could travel the world and go back to Broadway as often as possible. I promise you. He loved travel. And he also was that's all he talked about. And then he would talk about how in Joe's studio, there was this books of biographies and travel. There was not books on Pilates in the Joseph Pilates studio. And so that's what I want to keep encouraging you. Please do not get obsessed with what you can't do yet. Let's really obsess with what is possible and then where we need to grow. Yeah. So, I want to keep talking about this, and I always want this to be an open discussion for what's coming up. So please, if you're overwhelmed, you can say it. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to worry that I'm doing a bad job. I'm going to try to figure out how to make you less overwhelmed. Okay. We all learn differently. So I think that's also really important. We try to hit all the learning styles around here, but we're not perfect. And I don't ever try to be, but I always try to grow and do the best we can. So please ask questions, never apologize. All right. I want to talk about spine shapes. And I want to talk about the mat as an apparatus. Okay. So in Pilates, we have 5 spine shapes. We have flexion, extension, tall back, side bend, and twist. Now, twist is the hardest one to do correctly, I think, with side bend being the close second. I just think people have a really hard time understanding that because they can't see it, right? Also, very few modalities actually do this. But the thing that we lose first is twisting. Most people turn. Okay. So in twisting, one half of the body is anchored, the other half of the body is moving. So if I'm doing corkscrew, my shoulders are anchored, my shoulder girdle is anchored, my hips are moving. But in saw, my upper body is moving, my hips are not. So if when you're doing saw, your left hip moves forward as you twist to the right, that's turning. You lost the twist, right? If when you roll up, you unwind, you lost the twist, right? So like that's kind of things we want to think about. And so everyone's always looking for a good cue for things, but when someone is twisting, watch the anchors and tell them what to do. And I promise you'll get good twists out of people, right? Side bending is difficult because most people are like, oh, you want me to do this? Okay, I did it. Right. And they're actually like slouching to the side versus side bending. Right. So on the mat, we really have side bend as our side bend, but we have mermaid as well. I don't teach it in the class because it really was replaced with side bend. That being said, if you have wrist issues or if someone's not ready for side bend yet, mermaid's a really good one, and we'll dive into that tomorrow. But it's not my favorite side bend. I'd rather side bend than do mermaid, which is kind of a crazy thing. But yeah, so we have side bend, which is difficult because on that, people like to use their shoulders to do it rather than the waist. We got to teach that, right? So it's really fine if that's a hard one for you. It's a hard one for a lot of people. Flexion is always the longest flexion. So if you were taught lowercase c, capital C, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a thing. There's no C curve. No, it is the longest round shape. And so the 100, when your legs and your toes are in line with your eyes, if you do the 100 that low, it's like the longest flexion. Whereas the roll up is still a flexion. It's still the longest flexion, but it's going to be its own version. So just always know that you're looking for the most length. And so when we look at bodies, I like to look at the spines first. And I like to go, can they get long? Oh, wow, their shoulders are like this. So they're not really round because they're just pulling their shoulders forward. And so we don't have a long spine, right? We got to like find the longest spine. Extension in Pilates is always going to be focused on the upper back extending more because the lower back inherently is already an extension. That's how it likes to live. And so we don't want to use that, be like, look, I'm so flexible. We want to strengthen that and lengthen it up. So it's always going to be the longest. And I'll demonstrate, I'll use one of the girls here to demonstrate the spine shapes in a second for the visual people. Tall back is my challenge. It's so hard. And what's cool about the mat is a lot of exercises start in a tall back when you're lying on the mat and see the feedback of the mat, or you can use a wall, right? That gives good feedback. But then when we sit up, like for spine stretch forward, it starts in a tall back and most people sit with their ribs flared forward. They like arch forward, right? Or they slouch back. So it can be really difficult. But if you know the spine shapes, then one, if you looked at the list of exercises that you wrote down, I bet you have similar spine shape issues. Like I bet if we look at the exercises you wrote down, we can go, oh, that's flexion with a twist, right? And so we can go, oh, so obviously we have to work on that. But guess what? We're not going to work on it with just flexing the spine. we get to use the other spine shapes to help us because the entire center is helping, right? So that's gonna be a fun challenge for us to figure out what's the puzzle. Like what do we need to teach that? But a tall back is when your arm back connection is so good that when your arms move, it lifts your whole upper body taller without shoving it forward or back on your hips. And when your leg to center connection, I call it your fast connection, is so strong that when your legs move, your lower back gets longer. And so then you get this tall back in sitting, but you can take that tall back and round it. You can take that tall back and extend it. You can take that tall back and side bend it. You can take that tall back and twist it. So know that if the tall back is a struggle for you, hi, I see you. That's your focus because everything else will get better. We'll all get better, right? And it won't happen overnight. So please don't expect it. If we have a magical aha moments with people with me today in person, like you saw with Sally, and that didn't happen for you, it's going to be okay because sometimes it's just going to take longer, and that we have to be okay with that. There's no magical button that just puts things in place and then wow, you can do it. There's just going to be connections that are there or they're not there yet. Yeah. So I'm going to grab Christine because she's right here, and she's going to be my body for some spine shapes. Joy, will you spotlight my mat, please? Ooh. Okay. Thank you. All right. So she's a hypermobile body, so this is going to be a fun one. So go ahead, Christine, and lie on your back. Okay. So take your arms up and go ahead and like even just take them overhead like you're going to get ready for the 100. So right here, she actually, because she's hypermobile, can keep everything down, but her arms are actually not connected to her back, but they're touching the floor. So she's super flexible. So they touch, but I don't see the connection that I'm looking for. So I'm going to have her hover them and pull into here. Yes. Okay. That's really nice. And now we can even see her center is on. Okay. So this is a great tall back. And now come up to your 100, Christine. And then just pump your arms for your 100 a little bit. So Christine has the ability to curl up a little too high. So this needs to kind of right there. Yes. And then let's pump from down here instead. Yes. And can you straighten your arms? I know you're trying not to hyperextend, but that, yes, there. This is even longer. We can even get more length, but this is hard for her to keep because I can see her curling up off of that already. Go ahead and lower all the way down. Okay. Is that fun? Yeah. And to see, she wants to just like let go, Laura, and that's what you want to do because you only want to take a moment just to do that, and then I'll do the next thing. Okay. So now let's do some rolling like a ball. Let's keep playing with the round shape. So grab on and just show us you're rolling like a ball. Okay, cool. So you see that Elvis pelvis up there. So again, she's got a lot of mobility in her spine. So what I want her to do is push her shins into her hands more, but now pull them a little closer to you because you have the flexibility. Okay, from here, make your arms work from here. Yes. Okay. Now just breathe back. Inhale back and keep that. Exhale up. Better. Inhale back. Excellent. Okay. The next thing for Christine, the hard thing for her is to round back without slouching. So lift up into my hand. Okay. Imagine you could stay in my finger to go back and then my finger, may I meet it? Yes. That's better. Do you feel that? Okay, great. All right. Plenty of those. Let's do a spine stretch forward. So again, legs as wide as the mat. Yeah. Flex your ankles. Yeah. Okay. So this is a tall back exercise and Christine and I do the same thing. She adjusted a little bit, but she's actually like kind of in an extension right here and sitting forward on her hip bones. Yes. So now we have to lift up here. Yes. Dig your heels down. Great. Oh my gosh, her butt turned on. Love that. Okay, round forward. And round. Yep. And then roll up. She's learned from Sally. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Sally. So breathe in here. Yes. And then round. Okay. So I love everything that's working, Christine. And when you come up, nothing can turn off. So just lift up so it gets longer and longer and then round again. Yes. So she has a hard time rounding through here. And I don't want to tell her too much about that because her shoulders do this fun thing back and forth. And so she'll just round from her shoulders. So this is just information for us that I think once she gets more length in that rolling like a ball, it's going to stretch that out more. Okay. So that's tall to round. We did rolling like a ball. So I think we got a few roll. You can see how those rolls are going. Something I talked about in the AM group that I want to make sure I repeat here. Go ahead and round forward, Christine. She's doing such a good job. So the pelvis doesn't get to tuck under. It has to be like a bowl of soup, and it's holding the bowl of soup. And her frontal hip points right here need to be lifting up. So they're not coming onto her thighs. And then that way she actually could round this more, but this lift is there, right? Yes. Uh-huh. And then roll up. And that's the stretch. You feel that? Okay, good. So everyone has these bones, whether you can see them or not, doesn't matter. When you round forward, they will tip onto the thighs, right? So go ahead, Christina, and show a bad one, like show going too far forward. Do you see that? That's what everyone wants to do. And their roll up and everything. And so we have to get those hip points up. Uh-huh. And what happens is her butt turns on to do it, but also there's muscles around the stomach. So even if you have belly abundance and I'm not going to see space, you can feel space, right? And it's really about what you feel, not what we're all looking at. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's have you flip onto your stomach for some swan. Go ahead and put hand over hand. All right. So, go ahead and just show people how people tend to just lift up. Okay, great. So do you see how her neck is a Pez dispenser and her lower back is shoved down? Yeah, go ahead and rest. No more of that. Okay. So the neck needs to follow the thoracic spine. Okay. So it's not that she's never going to see the wall in front of her, but it's only if her thoracic spine lifts up enough. Okay. So those frontal hip points are actually going to stay off the mat. So they could still be touching, but they're not leaving a dent. And then she's going to lift her upper back, hands, head, and chest up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then lower it back down. And again, lift. Yeah. And you might not come up as high because that has to stay put on the mat. Yes. And what happens is when we work the extension up here, good adjustment of the pelvis, her hamstrings are working, right? I didn't have to talk to them because we've anchored all that down. Yes, 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 right through here. And so this is still long. I'm not trying to flatten anyone's lower back out. You can rest on that, right? It's really about like, how can we get it to crawl up and then not get stuck in the neck as well, okay? Prop yourself up on your forearm for a single leg kick. Yeah. So this is another one people have a really hard time with because they'll just let the lower back hang down and then they kind of round here. So we're gonna, the hip points can lift away from the mat to support that. And she's gonna pull her heart forward. Yes. And then go ahead and kick. Mm-hmm. And then switch. Yeah. And keep lifting this up as you kick. There you go. And lift that. There you go. Yes. Mm-hmm. And she has a little trouble stabilizing in here because of her mobility, but that will get better. Yeah. Rest. Like the goal is to actually challenge it. Go ahead and sit back and round your spine. Yeah. So you'll notice how after all extensions on the mat, Joe gives us a counter stretch. It's really cool. After you do extensions, there's always a flexion. Yeah. Okay. Let's do a thigh stretch really quick because that's like a total tall back the whole time. So you can use good luck with that one. It's gonna keep you honest. Yeah. So hold it wide. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So if I can see X-ray vision, where is her greater trochanter? It's got to be over her knees. But that was your lower back. Yeah. So I've got your legs, so you can take your hips a little more. There you go. Yeah. And then breathe back here. Yes. Okay. Now lower your arms and lean back. I'm going to take my foot away, fall back, and then lift your arms up. Ooh, we lost it. We rounded there. Heavy bar. I know. And then lower the arms and from your back, lean back and come right back up. Yes. There you go. Woo. Breathe back here. Again. Mm-hmm. And then lift. Yeah. It's all right. Rise, try this again. Yes. Mm-hmm. Breathe. Yes, ma'am. Okay, cool. Okay, let's do a side bend. All right, so some people tuck in a bit much, but you want to imagine there's a straight line, and we'll dive in deeper to all of this in a second, but hand in line with feet, right? And then hips behind the hand and knees in front of the hand, yeah? And then come up into your side bend. Okay, so right now she's doing this from her shoulders more than her hips, and that's normal. But we want to get this glute to be holding her up and not this shoulder, right? The shoulder is more like a kickstand. So one thing I like to do is just pull and then imagine your bicep is going to rotate over your middle finger as you come up. So come up into the shoulder. Now you're anchored. Now lift your hips higher. Now, oh, that's your shoulder. Yeah, hit. So this is going to be a fun one for Christine. And then come down because of her mobility in her shoulders. Yeah. Okay. That's side bend. Let's do a spine twist really quick. So squeeze the legs together. And then take your arms wide to the side. And so watch her feet. Okay. So she's going to twist to the right and her feet have to stay. And she can twist a little bit further and a little further, but the feet can't move. If you see a foot go even a millimeter forward, she's turning, right? And then unwind and go the other way. Now, as she's doing a great job of not leaning forward or back, because some people, when they twist, they lean to get out of it. So it's a tall back with a twist. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is exhale on twist. It's always better. Just like if you're wondering, like, how do I breathe? I want to ask that question. Go ahead and rest, Christine. Thank you. You're all done for those spine twists. So everyone likes to ask, like, what's the breath pattern here? So really, the breath is that you breathe. No, you're like, unless an exercise holds the breath, you're inhaling and exhaling. You fill the lungs, you let it go, right? But if you want to know, there is some anatomical things that always work, and this is across modalities of fitness. Inhaling actually causes the intercostals to work in such a way that you extend, like your actual vertebra extends. So inhaling on extension is always going to be helpful. Now, if you're doing swan dive and you're rocking and you're rocking and you're rocking, you're not going to go, like, you're not going to go with that. But when you're learning, using your breath is really great. So Laura, if you're wanting to like take your time with things, as long as you're going with your breath and you're never holding at the top or the bottom, you are going to be okay. Right. But if you are like holding the breath or like taking 2 breaths to do one thing, that's a sign you're not moving with the breath. But inhales always help extension. So if someone's struggling to extend, you inhale on that. Exhales always helpful in flexion. And like in double leg stretch, right? When we pulled our knees in 2 times, the exhale, inhale, arms up, gets you long. And it helps keep the chest up because it's like the little lung balloons, right? Exhale, circle around your inflection, squeeze, right? So exhale helps with exertion, it helps with flexion. And then when you twist, you want to exhale. Try twisting on inhale, it sucks. You're like, it kind of feels like you don't have enough room. Yeah. Any questions so far? Any wonders, worries, concerns? Yeah, Laura.
So this is more for like clients when they're twisting with their arms out. How do you get them to stop, like bringing the arm in front, like fan blade moving? You know what I'm saying? Like they move from their arms instead of actually twisting their spine, or they turn their head.
Yeah, that's a great question. Hands on the shoulders, like this. And then they twist and they can't do it from their arms, so it limits them. A magic circle on their breastbone, which isn't fun for chest abundant people, but a magic circle, and they hold here, and then their nose is in line with the circle, right? Oh, your nose can only go as far as the circle's going, and then you get rid of it, and then you do it without, and they try. Yeah. And sometimes also just telling people, just so you know, you're not twisting your spine, you're just moving your arms. Sometimes just saying, like, just FYI. That's all arms. And thank you for showing me that. I want your spine to move. Right. And then you can do this and then you can take them out again. Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Any other questions on the spine shapes or anything we've talked about? If something comes up in the future, just toss it in the chat. Joy will let me know it's there. I want to talk about the mat as an apparatus. I think it's really important to nerd out about the mat. So, and Joy, if you see any questions in the chat while I'm not looking at the computer, feel free to yell at me. Okay, so this is a Contrology mat. I am biased. It is the best. Okay, but that being said, if you have a mat with handles and a strap, don't go throwing it away and thinking it's crap. Sell it for what the website says and buy a new one. No, I'm kidding. I will. Don't ever sell your equipment without talking to me because I will help you price it. Um, the the reason I like this mat is because of how firm it is. So I think Christine Cutts explained all the girls who are here. I want you to get on this mat at some point, like take turns, because the firmness of it. First of all, for the hypermobile spines in the room, you can't cheat because there's nothing welcoming you in. It's not a comfortable couch. My dad was living with us for a bit, a couple of years back, and he took a nap on my Cadillac. And then the next day, we're at a studio in town where we worked out at the time, and there was a Cadillac there, and he sat and I was like, oh, "This is so luxurious. Yours is so hard." And I said, "Exactly. That it should not be a couch. It's supposed to be an equipment piece." So its firmness really makes it so that people who roll, the sinking is more, you can see it more because there's nothing to welcome them. Any of the plopping, you hear it more. So you can actually give feedback based on sound, right? So I love the firmness. Moon boxes are really amazing because they can go anywhere you need them. So if I have a fun size body doing side leg kicks, the moon box might be there, right? And so instead of having just a big wide mat that takes up ridiculous space, I can move this wherever I need it. If I have a really tall person, I can put it here so that the mat's longer, right? I can do it that way or short ways. So that's really fun. These are just really amazing for using, and you use them a lot. You use the saw, your legs go wider, side leg kicks, your legs go wider, right? A strap, notice that the strap comes from below as opposed to a belly band, like it goes around the top. So the strap from below allows your feet to go into it and pull the energy back in. So it's not actually anchoring your feet down. It's it's helping you redirect the energy of the exercise that you're doing. Yes, when you're a beginner, it might feel like it's holding your legs down, but you'll still come up like a vampire. Eventually, as you start to have more length in your flexion, this strap becomes more essential to the advancedness that you are going through. If you're on a Cadillac and you're using the band that goes around, that's more like it's just holding your legs down. Now, some Cadillacs and towers have straps that are hanging down and they can come up over the Cadillac to act like a strap like this. I would use that over the belly band of a Cadillac. Handles. These are amazing. These, like if you are struggling with overhead exercise, I promise you using handles will change your life because having width in your upper back to stand on and reach into is so excellent. I can give you tips and I will give you tips. I'm like, well, if I don't have handles, what do I do? I would take your arms actually a little wider than your mat, like a capital A. That's helpful. If you're using a yoga type mat, like a roll up mat, pull it apart. We did that in Cambodia because I don't take anything that could just crumble from the jungle. Like, so we pull it apart and that sits us on. You can actually take a dowel and put it underneath your butt, right? And then it's something I can pull out on to go over. But none of it, like all of that is going to be helpful. It doesn't replace the handles, right? And so, yes, you can like use your Cadillac or tower handles, but that does change the direction of the arms. So excellent for helping you with your Cadillac stuff. But the hands being up like this, pushing in, mimics if I get rid of the handles. Now my arms are doing the roll up. Now my arms are doing the 100. So it's the same strength that we need here, right? So to me, the more we think of the mat as a tool, as an apparatus, then it's as important as a reformer. It's important as a chair, right? Like this is a piece of equipment. And so if you don't have a mat with handles and a strap, don't worry, but think about how can I make this mat work? Like, what do I need to help find my arm back? Do I need to pull on a TheraBand so that I can get up and overhead? Do I need to use a magic circle around my feet to mimic a strap? Do I, you know what I mean? Those different things. And we can talk about that. We can nerd out together because everyone's going to be different based on what you need. Yeah. Any questions on the mat as a piece of equipment? Oh, I didn't talk about the dowel. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. So we have, let me show you this one. So the this is 36 inches, okay? And I like having both options. Both of these came from a hardware store. So this was from the closet department. It was 6 feet long dowel, and I asked them to cut it in half. Voila. So I kept one for me, and then I cut the other one in half and drilled holes in it and made two sandbags out of it. So, $6 goes really far. And then this sold just like this. I forget the name of this metal. It's in the plumbing department. And by the way, I just like to, I wander around and someone will help you. So like the hardware store is like people who actually want to work there. Like no one goes and works at the Home D, like, cause they like, you know what I mean? Like they could go work at a Target. Like the Home D is all people who are like into crafts and into hobbies. So I love it. Cause like I just like stand there and they go, take some help. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a pipe that's like 3 feet long. And they have them like this. And then they won't come with these things. You just buy them online. Or sometimes the Home Depot or Lowe's will have it. They didn't have the thickness that I needed, so I got them on Amazon. So, anyways, yeah, but the reason why I use a weighted one versus the dowel, and when you're here, always like try both out. The weighted one can actually be really helpful for thigh stretch. Like I feel like I can go further back if I use the weighted one than the wood one. On the roll up though, if you struggle with an arm back connection, it's gonna force you to find it because if it's if you can't cheat, you're gonna be like, oh, but I really like doing both. Obviously, please don't use this on beginners. Make sure like this is more of an intermediate to advanced thing, but it's really nice, especially on your short box as well. Okay, questions on the mat. And I can't see physical hands raised, so you'll just have to unmute. No, makes sense? I'm that good. Okay. All right. Um, well then. All right, what I want to do is start going into the exercises, but I'm going to give everyone a 5 minute adult break, bio break. So let's come back 25 after the hour. So that's like I think that's 6 minutes. Okay, take 6 minutes for yourself. All right, love. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do 3 to 4 exercises. Then I'm gonna grab one of the girls here so you can see a different body do it and me teach them. And then you guys are going to do them where I can look at you on camera if you want to be, so that we can make sure that everyone's doing it the way that I said. Because sometimes I say it and then you do it, and that's what I said, but not what I meant, or not what I said at all. Right? So it's a way for us to nerd out. Our goal today is to get to spine stretch forward and still have time to do another movement where you guys will move. And then you can compare yourself to yourself. And that's really fun because sometimes you're better the second time around. Actually, most times. So, all right. Cool. So, and I'm also going to talk about the transitions in between. These are all really important things. That camera is not nearly high enough. Let's see. That's a bit better. Actually, I'm just going to go over here. All right. Sorry if you get dizzy. Sorry about that. Okay. So, well, it's going to be good enough. So ideally, you always want to cross one arm over the other and one leg over the other, because this is like, it's kind of a way for people to like go, okay, I'm getting into my body, right? When they just like, and they're like, right, there's not, it's kind of a nice transition that we're here to move. We're here to like leave the other stuff behind. So cross one arm over, one leg over, and then it's kind of like a single leg pistol squat. And now I'm in a rolling like a ball shape. And then I can just slide back and the arms go as far back as I'm connected. So I too can touch, and I can even touch like this, but I don't really feel like I'm working. So I lift my arms up about that high so I can go, okay, I feel like they're connected to my back. And when they move forward, they're going to pull me forward, right? The legs can stay down, squeezing together. There's a slight turnout. They can be bent, pulling the feet back towards the seat, right? But we always want, like, we don't, this is like my legs are so long and my hip flexors get really tight. So, like, my legs being long pull my pelvis like this. So I have to really think about, okay, how do I get my center on so I'm as long as I can be so I can come up into my 100. Toes in line with eyes is the goal. Obviously, I could go from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. That's fine, right? Wherever you need to be. And then you pump the arms, and it's like 6 inches above and below. So it's not this little flutter. It's not way up here. It's here. And I shouldn't even see the shoulder heads going up and down, right? Or forward and back. They're here, and you're moving from your lats, you're moving from your back. And then after 10 cycles of breathing, you lower everything down at the same time. Then I just flex my ankles once I get down there. So it's a nice transition. And then grab your dowel, right? And you can use the first roll up to get your strap on if you're using it, or your magic circle. And then I like to pull the bar apart. So again, I get these lats on. It lets my upper abs have some space to connect. And then I come up and over, pulse 3 times, and I roll back down. And I come up and over, pulse 3 times. And the pulses are not me going further forward. That's not the initiation. The pulses are coming from the stomach pulling back, 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 right? And I'm trying to oppose that. So my arms reaching for my back are trying to pull forward. My stomach is pulling back, right? That's like what it's kind of like you got punched in the stomach, okay? And you go down and you do the reverse roll up. So you do a rollover. If it's in your practice, just because it's the first overhead exercise doesn't mean it's the first one you'll teach someone. So reaching into the handles or pushing down wide, right? Because you want the shoulder heads to be back. If your shoulder heads look like this, you're not going to go very far. So you're going to reach in, take the legs over, big stretch of the back. If I want to touch the floor someday, because that's the goal, my back has to do it. So it doesn't go like that, right? I have to reach my back, 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 back. That's as far as it's going today. Flex the ankles open, point and roll down. Squeeze the legs together, point over. We point over because it lengthens the fronts of the leg. We flex to get the extra stretch, point and roll down. You squeeze together, you reverse, you open with pointed feet, flex, squeeze, point, and come down. Again, open, reach, flex, squeeze, point, and roll down, okay? So Laura, come on up. Yeah, that's fine. Then you don't have to do the rollover, or you don't have to use the handles, but let's see. So stand at the top of the mat, cross one ankle in front of the other, cross one arm over the other, and then lower down. Yeah, and then lie back. All right, squeeze your legs together, take your arms overhead. All right, so there's a gap here that I could slide my hand under. Whoa, holy moly. Okay, so we gotta take your arms a little wider than your shoulders. There you go. And then breathe into here. Yeah, not your chest. Soften, soften, soften. Breathe into way here. Breathe more. Nope, that's your chest. Breathe here into your back. Take up space. There you go. Keep breathing into here. Nope, that's your belly. Okay, there you go. Getting better. Okay, so your goal is to get this to be somewhere down. Okay, now take your arms overhead only as far as we don't lose any of that. And then inhale, exhale, come up for your 100. Pump your arms. Yeah, I'm not gonna make her do a full 100, but I do want her arm pumps to be a little bigger. If they were like a little, I know she's gonna do a shoulder thing, but they're a little timid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see her lower back get longer. She's having a hard time with that, but we knew that going into it. So we're not going to fix it here. You're like, what's a good cue for that? She's safe. She's not going to hurt herself. So we're going to let it be and see what happens next. Go ahead and finish your 100. Lower the legs as you lift your arms. All right. I'll take your strap in. Flex your ankle. Slide back a little bit. Okay. Grab. We'll do one with this and you'll do one with the heavy one. Okay, so wrists are straight. So when people hold the dowel, double check that they're not doing that little wrist bend thing. Straight wrists. But use that to find that. Okay, now take an inhale. Lift your head and chest up and exhale the hardest part and pulse forward as you continue to exhale. 2, 3, and then roll back. You definitely didn't use that strap well, but that's okay. No, you need to move this. Yeah, I'd move back. But oh, see, I want the strap where I want the strap. Yeah, but your back is so tight that you're not able to use the strap correctly yet,
Okay.
and that's just going to take time.
Okay.
Okay, we're not going to change how tight your back is in this moment. But when you start, she has a tendency to she likes to inhale like belly, chest, right? But that kind of breathing is great for life, although the chest part, not so much. The belly part's really great for life. Where we need to have access to this. So we can't be pushing this up. We have to be connecting this. So when she inhales, it has to be back here. It's already better. So when you inhale, lift your head and chest up, but breathe into here and exhale. Pull back in your waist. Good. Stop there and pulse 3 times. Pull your back. Yes. And then roll back. Yeah. Already better. Yeah. Now try it with the heavy dowel just for fun. Don't drop it on your face, please. Okay. All right. Knuckles. So wrists are straight. And now go ahead. Breathe into yeah. So find your breath. And then, Oh, you lost your inner thighs. Yeah, there you go. And round back. Yeah. Do it again. Find your low ribs in the back. And then round forward. Exhale. Exhale, squeeze your legs. There you go. And then roll. Now, notice where her bar is to her head. This is an easier roll up. When she's more advanced, she doesn't have to go back with her arms too far, but wherever her arms are, lift your head up and then try to keep your arms by your ears and roll up and round forward. That's the goal. Honestly, most people get better if you do that sooner. Now, head in and now roll down, but keep your arms with your ears. Shoulders, not so much. Less shoulders. There you go. And then go right into the next one without, yep. And then find your shoulders here. Yep, there you go. And then roll down. So much better. Your legs didn't move at all, right? So do you see how slower, not necessarily better, and making it easier, not so good for you. Even though you have a tight back, having you force your arms up made you round better. Yeah? Cool. Okay. Take your legs out. Now, when you mean you have a bad shoulder, are you worried about the handles? Okay, just see. Yeah. Yeah, because it's coming. You don't, so yeah, don't pull out. Reach up. Like a handstand. Correct. All right. So those knuckles look like they need to go under you more. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, that's better. Okay. So that's fine. It's important for us to know. So the shoulder that's closest to the camera, you can see her wrists are wanting to bend. So she's going to do the best she can. Just start with your legs up to the sky. So let's not even strain it. Okay. Now take your hips overhead only as much as you can. And then flex your ankles, open your legs. Point the toes and roll down. Yep, circle the legs together and go. Chin off your chest as your legs go over, and then flex the ankles to open. Yep, point the toes and roll down. And circle together. Let's do that again. So point over, flex here, stretch, open the legs, point the toes, and roll down. Yeah. And then reverse it. Open the legs with pointed toes, go over. So we can see that she has an arm back connection problem, but she can still do this. So yes, there's some things I don't love in her ribs and her lower back and her start, but it's actually not hindering her from doing it, roll over. And so we'll get better, not in this exercise. We cannot teach her ribs and her lower back to belong in here. We have to do it other places. Like your roll up's going to help, rolling the ball is going to help. Does that make sense? How'd that feel on your shoulder? Tugging. Little tug. So be nice. So it's also possible that for her rollovers for a bit, maybe she does a couple up and then her arms down. That's going to be fine as well. It also might mean that you might even like the turn of the poles. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So if you get her, she felt easier going up because pushing the bars. It always is easier. So honestly, like the more strength your shoulder gets, the more this will probably be nice. Yeah. So it'll be nice. Do your homework on your shoulder. Okay, hop off. So now it's everyone else's turn. So if you want to see yourself on replay, make sure your camera is on and go ahead and do a few reps of the 100. Make sure you stand up first, transition into it. Few reps of the roll up. And if you want to do rollover or your version of rollover. Terry, go ahead, get on there. So fun to see Amy here. We got to see your cute Gwyneth earlier. Christine, your shoulders are already better. They're still moving around a lot, but they're already better. Terry, can you curl a little higher? Yeah. And bigger pumps, babe. They're too timid. Yes. Nice, Melissa. Make sure your gaze is at your toe. There you go. Thank you. And squeeze your fingers together. Yeah, no pitchforks. Yes. Yeah, and I'm not counting your hundreds, guys. So, make sure you're doing your own. Sue, if you could just point your camera down a little bit more, I would love to see your whole body. If you need a tripod, let me know. Okay. I think that's good. Yeah, it's good. Nice, Sarah. That looks really good. Yeah, Amy, I think you're really long. I'd love to see your legs get lower at some point, but you don't need to do it today, but you have the length and the spine that we want. Yeah. Oh, Anne didn't like her roll up. I saw it on her face. So, Anne, if you don't have a strap, you can't be mad at yourself because it's okay. You do what's possible, but hold that dowel a little wider. Yeah. And then lie back. Yeah. Okay. Now squeeze your legs together. Yes. Okay. That's going to change your life. Now lift your head up and exhale and squeeze your legs together. Go, 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 go. Already better. And pulse. 3. Go faster. 2, 1. And then roll down. And then come back up. Already. Yes. Slower is not better for you, Anne. Now, Anne, I want you to try the same thing as Laura. So now lift your head up between your arms. Squeeze your legs together. They're drifting. Almost. Your legs are apart, but get your head to come up between your arms. So lie down. Sue, I haven't seen you yet, so don't do too many. So squeeze the legs together. Now, yes, that's it, Ann. Straight wrist. Keep going. Keep moving. Oh, I like that on you, babe. And now roll down with your arms up. Roll down with your arms up. Don't give up. Roll down with your arms up. Yes. All right, Sue, your turn. I'm looking at you now. Yeah. Right there. Drop your head. You're doing a little hingey thing. There you go. Yeah. And yeah, Amy, use that strap. Get around that's perfect. I can see you. Oh, squeeze those legs together, and they have like an aversion to themselves. But you look better when you squeeze them together. And Sarah, this looks really long, but I want your ankles flexed. Yeah, there you go. And then it looks a little flat in your upper back. Can I see you do that again? Roll up. Hold it there. Maybe it might be your shirt, but it looks a little flat in that mid upper back. Can I find 100 scroll? Oh, there. Thank you. That looks good. That's better. Yeah. Yep, that's nice, Amy. Good. Okay, rollovers, people. Make sure you do your rollovers if you're doing them. Vero, how'd that go? I think I missed your roll up.
I'm having a tight week, so it's a little bit clunky.
Yeah,
Um, and I always find myself negotiating my abundant rear end.
I know. Many years of this abundant rare. It's not even that abundant.
It sure is,
There are bigger butts. So
but
you
it's
have a
hard.
strap. You have a
Yes,
strap, yeah? Okay, let me see with the strap.
yeah. So I was trying to listen to what you were saying to the other girls of
Yeah,
squeezing the
you do.
legs together.
Yeah, you do have a dog behind you. It's okay.
Yeah,
He'll move. Yeah.
ready to go. Get off.
Okay. So for you, Vero, it's going to feel like you're tucking because your hip points have to pull to your low ribs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now go up and keep going and don't go slow. Go, 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 go. I like it. That was good. Yes. And now reach. Yes. Go again. Tap down and hip points pull up the whole time. Hip points, hip points. That was already better because your knees didn't bend as much. This is so much better than when I saw you years ago in Long Beach.
Thank
You should
goodness.
be so proud of yourself. Yeah. Yeah. So not easy, but when you set your hip points up, that's really good. And I bet you if you had a dowel, we could get those shoulders to play
Oh, I
a
have
little
a
bit more.
dowel.
Yeah, grab a dowel. There, that looks really good. When your hips go overhead, just double check your chin doesn't go down. All right, pull on that dowel, Vero. So look at your elbows for a second, make sure they're not hyperextended, and then pull the dowel from your back. Okay, now, yes, pull the dowel apart. There you go. Already better in your shoulders now. And then this time, roll down with your arms up. Roll down with your arms up. Yes. Okay, now lift your head up between your arms and keep your head between your arms. Try to go up from there. Oh my gosh, yes. Woo. I know that felt stiff, but I actually don't care.
Yeah.
It, you did it, and that's going to help you. Now go down with your arms up. So lift your arms up and go down. Keep those arms up. Yes. And the reason is it's going to force your abdominals to stay working. Yeah. As
Okay.
opposed to slouching down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job. I think you should be really proud of those.
Thank you.
Hmm. Oh, Melissa, is your arm stuck?
No, it's good. I'm playing around. I'm kind of like trying to feel how I want to feel that connection into the handles because, truth be told, this is a fairly new mat to me, and I
Yeah.
didn't have the handles, and so I'm just really kind of feeling my feels with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So,
No, it's really good. Also, like if you do have tight shoulders, doing some shoulder flossing before you move on your mat is going to
yeah,
help you get those arms in there. With the handles
yeah,
that pull out, if they pull out, it's a sign you're pulling out and not reaching up. Right? So like just let it be feedback like, "Oh, I was pulling out with that arm." So my tight shoulder will
yes.
pull the handle out some days when I'm not super connected. Vero, I actually don't hate that. I'm gonna give because of her booty abundance. I'm gonna give you guys a little trick that actually Joe would teach. Um, and then Carrie, I didn't miss what you said. So something that you can't. It's not momentum. Okay. It's like I used to think that momentum was a bad word in Pilates, and the more I do Pilates, the more I realize like if you can use the momentum and keep your control, then it's not bad. If the momentum controls you, that's bad, right? Like if you roll like a ball and you do all backward somersault, that's wrong. But if you can use the momentum to come back up with the energy, that's gonna be good. So Joe would have everyone like he would do these like fun things and he would at the end do a fun little combo. And it's like roll like a ball, find teaser, roll like a ball, find jackknife, roll like a ball, find teaser. And you could roll. He would just have you roll and roll and roll, and he would joke, right? And we'll talk more about that combo and that ditty later. But for those of you who are struggling to get the hips up, and you know that you could do it if you just had a little help. So start and rolling like a ball. Roll like a ball, put your arms down, take your legs over, right? Because sometimes it's just about you got to get used to being weight on your shoulders. So roll and reach, right? And then if you get over, then open your legs and try to descend, and then roll try that out. We're making up the rollover part of it. But sometimes I think it's in our head, we got to get these hips up. And we get so obsessed with that when really, when you get your upper back used to weight on it, and it might be tight since it's not used to it. Yeah. So for those of you who are struggling with the rollover, give that a little fun go. Carrie said, I always feel stuck and getting a little higher in my flexion, even when I had a smaller body. How can I improve? What do you mean higher? Like the flexion higher in your upper back? Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Okay. So, can you come on? Because you come on the mat, Carrie. You and Christine have the hundreds curl issue, but for different reasons. She curls up too high, and you can't curl up enough. Okay, so go ahead and lower down. Leave your legs down. Yeah, just leave them straight on the mat. Squeeze them together. Yep. Okay, lift your arms up, and then breathe into my hand. Yeah. Okay. So yes. Okay. Now curl up where my hand is. Full push weight. It's like smash me. Yes. Uh-huh. And then keep pumping. And just keep pumping. Yep. And bigger pumps. So you're pumping from here, and I want you to pump from here. Go pump lower. Yes. Yes. Okay. Someday we'll get bigger, but pump lower and use these pumps to help you curl right from here. And then rest. Okay. The amount of height more we want is like 2 millimeters. So it's it's that funny thing about flexion, like 2 millimeters back, it's in the neck, 2 millimeters up, it's perfect. 2 millimeters more, it's too high, right? So there's a sweet spot. But for you, I think it's actually a weakness in here that could be because it's tight. And so the more we strengthen this, the more you'll be able to stretch it to round. That makes sense? Yeah? Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Because you're not alone. Like people with chest abundance or belly abundance are kind of just like, I feel stuck. I feel like the weight is pushing me down. And it can be. When we do the props, there's also some really fun ways to help people find that bend. And we do barrels when we do the C shaper. You'll see another great tool for helping people find that bend. So just know it's coming. Okay. Questions on any of those before we move on?
I do. I have questions.
Yeah, Amy.
So let's see, when you're about to do 100, I get the arm back connection. Do you want the spine to be all kind of like melted on the mat? So like no neutral.
So I don't ever talk about neutral because that's a whole ball of worms that I don't understand. People at trainers at gyms aren't talking about fucking neutral pelvis. Why are we? What is going on? You know what I mean? So the body moves in all these different ways. And so I don't get caught up in that because I think people get I just look at is that pelvis stable or unstable? But to your question, the lower back touching the mat is less important. Not less, that's not the right word. It's going to depend on the body, right? So, for example, Laura has a really freaking tight back and her curve is up, and we're never going to get that down this week. Now, in time, we're going to get enough length and space that her stomach muscles could, like her stomach muscles working and her legs reaching and her upper body reaching could be long enough to have her lower back touch. But there's a difference between someone having the length to use the stomach to do that and this. And so it's very important, like the words that we use. I never want to actually tell people to put their lower back down because some people have the mobility to shove it down. And then we get something funky, right? So it's okay for me if someone's lower back is off to start because their pelvis, like their tailbone's reaching their heels. It's not tucking, but it's reaching. Everything else is going in just the shape of their spine. Sally Joe was here earlier, and the length of her spine, like it's just not going to touch, but it could when she curls up, right? Because she could get the strength so much that she reaches, and she could, as the 100 goes, touch it. So some things, the words articulate your spine mean a lot in Pilates and have been abused in a way that now people are trying to like contort, right? So yes, when we do airplane on the Cadillac, yes, I love the spine to articulate, but not to the point that people round, right? So some of the stuff we have to do has to be internal as opposed to external. So I love that question, Amy. Thank you for asking. It's really going to depend on the body. And I'm actually looking like I'm more concerned on their way up into the 100, how they get there. Do they arch to come up? That's not what I want. Or when they're up, are they arching? So the start position is less of a worry and something that's more informative for you, like, oh gosh, they're really tight there, but they can round there in other exercises. So what do we need to do to warm them up to find that ability? Or is their butt in the way? Is their butt really in the way, right? And if it's really in the way, it's not going to get out of the way. And I don't want them to tuck to get their back down. So that's where it's like, the body. Yeah. And I hope you guys are seeing like there's so much gray, right? There's so much gray. It's not black and white. And it's very easy for people to go, but it's like this. And even when I try to tell people things are gray, I was telling you guys about this post I did on the roll up, like people really want to make it black and white. I'm like, no. I mean, honestly, like the answer is yes, the strap is always amazing for the roll up for everyone, always. Now, if you don't have it, you should still build the roll up. It's going to be hard. But just because you're using the strap doesn't make you a beginner. Like there's just so many people want to go, no, you use it because you're a beginner, or you use it. No, it's not like that. So legs down until they find that lower ab connection, the 100. Vero, legs down. Here's the thing, if it's a group class and I'm telling everyone to lift up, there's gonna be people who lift up and they do it by arching their back. And then as they do the 100, they find the position. That's fine. Because then I can, in a group class, make a theme up where I could try to teach them how to come up, lift their legs up with control. I could do that. I'll show you with the magic circle, great way to teach that feeling. In a private session or a small group class where I can have more hands-on, I'm going to say I love the legs being down for people, especially if they're first time I'm meeting them, to see if they can lift their legs up together simultaneously from their stomach. So I might have, if it's a new person to me, I might have them lift just their head and chest up and pump their arms and then I'll just see like, can I split my finger through their heels? If their legs are squeezing so much, I can't, right? You know what I mean? When they have their heels together, if I can't, then what I'll actually do is use my hand to lift their legs up for them. Right. And I'll like pull it and lift their legs up for them. And then that way I can kind of like see what happened in their pelvis. So the answer is maybe, but ideally they leave their legs down until one day the inner thighs and outer hips are working so much they levitate. Right. And they will, especially if you teach them, especially because you have double straight leg stretch, coming up, and you can teach them, this is how we want it to feel when you lift your legs up for the 100, right? So you can use exercises to teach for tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions on the roll up, 100 rollover? Yeah, Sarah. Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
I wanted to know about the roll up, the roll over, and the spine stretch forward. I've seen them done with the hands down, like so going, or the feet going over to the ground if you're rolling over, and then rolling up the hands all the way down. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, so touching the ground with the feet or touching the ground with the hands. Like I definitely feel the length more the way we do it today.
Yeah.
with that lift, the feet off the ground parallel and then coming up. But for me, it's like an up and over a barrel feeling. But I just
Yeah.
wondered if you could talk about the differences.
Yeah. So in the roll up, are people like rolling up and then they're putting their hands down, or they're having their hands down the whole time?
No, like for if you roll over, you can bring your feet to the ground or you can hover
Yes.
them like parallel to
Yes.
the ground.
Yeah.
And if you roll up, you can sort of pretend you're going over a barrel or go all the way down and touch your hands to the ground.
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
So, okay. So, right. So it's always going to be the longest round shape. And so there are some people that over their years, I've seen some beautiful movers where they can still keep a lift in their center and reach their hands to the ground because their back is rounding so much that they can do that. But if we tell people it's the goal, we're going to get people just putting their hands down. So I would say always focus on the spine being the longest round shape and making sure they didn't lose it in their lower back or their upper back or their neck. And if they still have more reach, but they can still pull back in opposition, then I'd say sure. But I would just make sure, like I'm going to just, like I would just make sure that their tailbone didn't go back. Do you see how my tailbone is actually sticking behind me?
Mm-hmm.
So now the tailbone's part of the spine. So it can't flatten out because then I'm losing my round shape. So my tailbone is reaching down and I can keep going. And if I can keep my tailbone down and my hip points up, oh, certainly I could do it. Right. But I think the answer for that, Sarah, is like if they have more reach, they should keep reaching. But we don't want it to be like, I'm still reaching, I'm still reaching, I'm still reaching. Like get there and reach and reach and reach. Right. So just be mindful if they're like slowing down to get there, can they get there with the rhythm of the exercise? So yes, I could see that. I probably wouldn't tell people to put their hands down. I would probably encourage how much more they could reach. And Joe had these pushes where he'd come up and he'd push you. He'd push you really hard. And that wasn't to get more stretch. It was actually for you to push back into him. Like, yeah. So Carrie, come over here really quick. Put your feet in the strap and just do a roll up. Squeeze your legs together. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll up. And then he would push you, but you have to push him into me. Like, don't let me push you. 1, 2, 3. And then you go, right? So like I could see Sarah where like people got pushed and they pushed enough back, but because he was helping them go forward, thank you, Carrie, they could touch the floor, right? But I would say like let that be an option, but not the where we're telling everyone to go. And then for the roll over, yes, some people can get their legs to touch the floor. Some days I can, but it has to come again from the back. So this is not the same. Now I'm slouching in my back, right? So the space, just like in the roll up, has to stay. And so if I want to touch the floor, I have to take my back. There. Ah, we did it. Woo! Right? But it has to come from the back. Did that answer the question, Sarah?
It did, yes. Thanks.
Great. Thank you for that. Yeah, because here's the thing. There's always more for everybody. Some days are wildly more than other days, right? So it's good to not limit people, but also we don't want to like just touch the floor because it's right there. Yeah. Laura asked, I've heard you mention that you don't like tabletop. Can you explain why and what is better, but knees with feet down or legs down and straight? Okay. Yes. So you can do whatever you want at CP with supine arms. I don't even know what that stuff is. Joe didn't teach it. So like you can do whatever you want. But what I would say in the exercise that Joe gave us, the reason he didn't give us tabletop is because it's a chair. It's them sitting. It's the same position that their legs are in a chair. And it's hip flexors, maybe inner thighs, but it's hip flexors. And yeah, some people are strong enough to get their stomach on, but the average person is hip flexors. And the thing is going from tabletop to distal legs actually is a very advanced ask to get the butt on. So when the legs go out distal to straight legs at an angle, it's quads, right? Maybe some rectus. But Joe wants our entire body to work. And so when you start with the legs down and you squeeze those heels together and you wrap those at our hips, you can actually feel the hamstrings. And so when you levitate the legs, like Sarah and I talking about, then you're not using the back and the hip flexors only, you're using your center. So what is better? Ideally, I have people learn the 100 with their legs straight on the mat. And then like I said with Vera earlier, I'll try to lift them up and I see what happens. I also do this. If it's a group class, I'll start them where they just lift the head and chest up. They pump a little bit, they come down. Then I have them try to lift the head and chest and legs up and they come down. And I had you know what I mean? Like you can see in a group what's going on, right? And you can kind of test, but the legs being down is the first way to modify the 100. So ideally toes are in line with eyes of the 100. If they can't, the legs just go higher. If they can't lift them off the ground simultaneously or it bothers their back or they're not connected to their center, legs being down is the first way to modify because they can still work the legs together. They can still get the 100 legs out of that. It's amazing. I did it with I said this earlier today, so if it's a repeat, you get to hear it twice. I did this with my 80-something-year-old client for years. She did the 100 with her legs straight. And then one day she was squeezing them and they just lifted right off the mat, toes in line with eyes, and she's pumping. And I looked at her and I said, she's like, oh my God, my legs are up. And I'm like, they are. Where do you feel this? She's like, in my stomach. And I'm like, great. Right. So like that version of the 100 allowed her to one day actually lift her legs up. I don't do tabletop, but if people can't have legs straight because it bothers their back, it happens. I actually do bent knees with feet on the mat. And the reason is, Christine, will you, actually, I had Christina. I gotta grab other bodies. I'm gonna grab Sue so y'all can see Sue today. Sue, come on down. So lie down like you're doing your 100, but bend your knees on, put your feet on the mat. Okay, squeeze your feet together. And then a little further away. Yeah, so it's like not 90 degrees at the knee. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Okay, now, Sue, push your feet down and energetically pull your feet back towards your seat. Yeah. Do you feel these are on? Yeah. Yeah? She feels her hamstrings. You feel your inner thighs. Okay, great. Lift your head and chest up and do your 100 with the legs doing that the whole time. So she is working the muscles that eventually will help her hold her legs up out here, right? So that's why I like it. Because if the legs are in tabletop, you've done tabletop, Sue. Yeah. Do you feel these muscles working in tabletop? No. Okay. They're passive, right? And so it's not that it's wrong. It's just not going to help us in the work we're doing, right? Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, my model. So it's not that you have to go, oh my God, I've been teaching tabletop for years. I've screwed up. No, there's a reason why it exists. It's a really good modification that keeps people safe. But we have other options. And the thing that training programs do really well is they help make sure you teach in a safe way. That's great because do you want to know something? It takes 5 years to feel like you even know what you're doing. So giving you safety modifications like that is always an option. What I loved about my second program and what I learned from Jay is, that they would teach the exercise to the ideal and then give you options if you couldn't do it. So instead of expecting people to be lesser, they would see where you're at and then they would give you options. And so I highly recommend that you let bodies impress you or surprise you and then give options or omit until they're ready. Bring it back later. Guess what's a great way? Okay, thanks. Let's move on. They're not going to remember that they didn't do it the next time. You know what I mean? And then you can go, hey, we're going to try this again today. Right? Another thing you can say if you want to change in the way you've been teaching things is, this time I want you to. Right? And you can just give them a new way of doing it. Vero, Jay would never have called it pre-mat work. Jay would call it other stuff that helps you with your Pilates. So pre-Pilates is a really fun marketing tool to make people buy more workshops. It's great. Wonderful. I think it's necessary. Jay gave me tons of exercises to do that weren't Pilates. He would just call it not Pilates. He would go, okay, these are homework exercises for you. So I also, the elbow slip and the half roll back, I put those in the flashcards. I love those. I love, love, love those. If you look at them, they look like Pilates exercises, right? And they actually help with flexion, what people struggle with. So I love those. And I just tell people it's a pre-Pilates move. And I just use that same term that everyone else uses. And it's fine, right? Because it's essential. People, if you can't do an exercise, we might have to teach you something. I might have to give you wall stuff to do to help you. That doesn't mean that you're bad or you're not good or it's not a good exercise. It's just that, and like Jay would just say, like there's an exercise I do that I got from yoga. I say it's a yoga exercise, but it helps with this, right? So that's fine. I think it's fine. But I think it's just like it's exhausting to debate on like what it is. Yeah, Vero.
So I feel the same way as you, and I typically when I'm putting together the class, a lot of times I will bring those little exercises in before I go into the actual Pilates exercise. So do you see that as a logical way of doing it, or is it
I
more like
love
the
a warm
up?
up. I love a warm up. I love exercises on a cool down that can teach it next time. I also don't mind an exercise to warm up for an exercise. We do swan prep. That wasn't Joe.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So like, I think it's fine. I think what I would recommend is just making sure that they still need it. Like at what point does that warm up not need to be there? Same as a prop. Or at what point is it homework that they do? Or do they come in early and do it before class starts? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. We could keep talking forever. We got to go through some more exercises. So we're going to do single leg circle, rolling like a ball. And then we'll do 3 of the ab series exercises. Okay. So here we go. All right. So we come from the roll over, and remember transitions are awesome. So if we're coming from the roll over, we roll down, one leg stays up, right? Boom. Flex that foot on the floor. Single leg circles has 2 options. So you are either going to keep the hip down, circle the leg around and up. You go across the body first, around and up, across and around and up, out, around and up. We go across first to gather up the strength. We know how far out we can go. Okay. If you go too far and the hip lifts, guess what? You try it. You try to work that hip down and make the hamstring work, or you make the circle smaller. So you try to stop at the top. If someone has a bent leg like this, guess what? This is also single leg circle, right? And they can work it higher with each one as their leg has more mobility. All right. The second way of doing single leg circles is they lift the hip to take the leg across. If you're going to do that, this shoulder has to stay down because remember the twist? If the bottom half is twisting, the top half has to anchor. So the hip takes it across. Very important that the hip does it and it's not the leg's weight. Do you see the difference? That was very groiny. So when you go out to the side, it goes in line with the hip, and then the hip takes it across. Cool. So that's obviously more advanced. Someone who has the ability to have a straight leg and has good fast connection. All right. Then after you do both legs, you have 2 options. You can do a full roll up, rolling the ball, or you can actually just pull the knees in and come up. Right. So if you know roll ups are not awesome for you, just pull it in. And then we're going to rock back and up. Right. So the feet someday are really close to the seat. Everything's pulled in the tight ball, shoulders out of the ears, right? But if you pull so close, these can't turn on. You got to give yourself some strength, right? So I like to push the shins into my hands and then pull my hands onto my shins. So this is all working. Okay. So my arms are making their own circle and my body's making a circle. Yeah. So you got 2 balls going on. Then when I go back, I'm still pushing my shins into my hands. I'm pulling my hands from my back. And that will keep the seat on and make it more possible to get back here. And so for those of you who are struggling with the rollover, if you can balance on your like a ball 1,000, 2, 1,000, then your rollover is in your body. But if you go back there and you go up onto your neck, right? Like we have to get you to that spot where you can balance on your upper back. And if it's tight, it's going to take time, but it will stretch it out. Yeah. So then the transition is left hand on the left ankle, right hand on the left knee, right leg out. You can also do the other leg first. And then you roll back. That leg doesn't get to move. So when I'm going back, I'm not going like this, right? I'm going back with control. And then I pull on this leg 1, 2, as I push the leg into my hand. So it's not passive. It's a pull with a push, 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 right? So pull, 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 pull. And then double leg stretch, heels together, toes and knees are apart. I pull 2 times, exhale, exhale, reach, circle around, pull, pull, reach, circle around, pull, pull, reach. And then legs go up, grab as high as you can on the leg. Now, if you're a super flexible person, you're way down here, that's cheating. If you're super tight and you're way up here, not great. So you want to be in that 100 scroll, and I'm pushing my thigh away from me. And I pull 2 times, switch, pull, pull, switch, pull, and pull, right? Okay. So let's grab Sue again for these. Come on up, Sue. You did these in a C shaper yesterday, so you should be excellent. All right, it's okay. You're not here to model. You're just here to show other bodies doing it. So let's do your single leg circle. So use the handles if it doesn't bother your shoulders. Yep, push out. I know. Yeah. Okay, so reach. Yep. Take one leg up. Okay. So she is a good example. Like her leg isn't totally to straight. So we'll see, but I don't mind it being here as long as she's not hip clicking, right? She's going to push this leg down, not from the knee, but from her thigh. And then we go across the body around and up and across and around and up. So we got a lot of motion going on up here. So see as you go the reverse, if you can get more of your back on the mat. Yeah. Yeah. Scissor switch your legs. Once she reached with her back more, that got a lot more stable. Yeah. Point that foot. Pull your right pinky toe back. There you go. Nope, that's your left foot. Yeah, there you go. Point it. There you go. Keep it pointed. There you go. Yeah. Fun. Okay. Now just lower the leg down and come up into the roll up. So you can bend both knees in. Yep. And come up. Okay. Now grab your ankles. Lift your feet up. Okay. Push your shins forward. Push them forward. Now pull back from here. Don't fall yet. Oh. Okay. Because you fell by pulling your shoulders in your ears. Oh, so yeah. Let's not do that. So pull from here. There you go. And push back and up. And again. You have a little bit of an initiation from your chest going back. So push your legs forward and pull your stomach back. Or inhale to go back. There you go. It's still shoulders, but better. One more. Much better. Yeah. Okay. Grab one ankle with one hand. Switch your hands. So the reason why the hands are like this is it keeps the leg in line. Yes, exactly. There you go. So roll back. Okay. Pull on this leg as you push on it. 1, 2, switch. Great. Keep going. She's pulling a little bit from her biceps and her chest. So we're going to try to get her to find a row in her upper back and grab the leg and pull. Yes. Double leg stretch. Heels together. Reach your arms up. Circle around. I'm out of the way. Stay off my fingers. And then you can be slightly turned out there. So so toes don't touch, heels do. Yes, ma'am. There you go. And then reach. Now something Sue is doing, that was better. She was dropping her heels before, but she corrected it. She read my mind. Yes. Now single straight leg stretch. Grab up. Now push that leg into your hands and pull from here. Push that leg forward from the thigh bone. Yep. Good. And we're going to see if she's connected. We're going to see. Hold on, grab one. Yeah. Okay, hold. Okay, ready? Let's see. Oh, almost. Yes! Oh, way to go. Cool. Okay. So now everyone else gets to practice those with the transitions. Yeah, you can totally be on the Cadillac. Just don't knock the camera. Oh, Christine, no one's using this mat, so you can use it. Hmm? Oh, what are you doing? Single leg circles, rolling like a ball, single leg stretch, double leg stretch, single straight leg stretch. Find your lowest ribs, Vero. They're below your sports bra. So reach your arms from there. Yes, ma'am. That's already getting better. And there's a little tension on the way up. Can we have a little more fun? Yeah, across and up. Yeah, there you go. And then find more of your lower leg or your thigh moving. Yeah, the back of your leg. There you go. Mm-hmm. And Sarah, as your leg goes out to the side, you get to give your left hamstring more work. So circle around and left hamstring. There you go. That was really nice. That was really strong. Melissa, you got a little Elvis pelvis going on. Do you feel that? Yeah. You're sinking to go back. So if I was there, I would put my finger on the crown of your head. So lift into my finger. Yes. The top of your head. Yes. Okay. Now the only thing you have to do is rock back. Don't get shorter. So lift your head up into my imaginary finger to rock back and lift up. Already better. There you go. Oh, good, Sarah. I'm glad you're working that hip, that twist. So hip first. There you go. Yep, hip first. And then the leg comes down and the hip comes down. Yes. Yeah, that was really nice. And then carry, because that curl up's hard for you, use your leg. So use the leg in your hand to help you. Yes. And then you just have to hold it for a split second. Yes, ma'am. There you go. Laura, switch your hands. Yes. And then grab your leg. Don't be so delicate. Push your leg in your hand. Yes, ma'am. There you go. And then use this to get your shoulder on your back, especially that right one. Yes. Woo. Good. Nice, nice. Christine, you're really working those arm circles around. They're getting longer. Yeah. Yeah, you're getting there. I feel for her because I have a right elbow that hyperextends, so I can tell you're like trying not to straighten, but you're not trying to bend, and like just keep working from your back. It's getting there. It's really nice. Melissa's gonna curl up higher, and she's already into the crisscross. We're not even there yet, but okay, go for it, Melissa. Go, you go, girl. Yes, and grab, grab, grab. Lift your chest up as your arms go back. Yes, ma'am. There you go. Yes, and that's it. Good. And then see if your leg can get straighter on the way up, Laura. And Sarah, I like the zest. Make sure you're still grabbing your leg and pulling on it. So still, yes, still get it. Yeah. So keep that zest, but pull, pull, and pull, pull. Yes. Love it. Good. All right. Yeah. Questions?
I got
Yeah.
one, too. Yeah. Carrie, do you want to go first or? Yeah, okay. Just a quick one, Leslie. When I learned single leg kick, I was taught that my leg had to be really externally rotated.
Single
To,
leg stretch, you mean? Yeah, single leg stretch. Yeah.
yeah, single
Yeah.
legs. Yes, is
Sarah, I
that right?
really liked your space there. Great job. Um, yeah, that's weird. Um,
It doesn't feel good. And then I
no.
noticed that you're doing it more parallel. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So there's no such thing as Pilates feet, right? And first position is more externally rotated than the turnout that Joe wanted us all to have. And the turnout that Joe used is your anatomical position of the femur in neutral, right? When we look at the anatomical position of a skeleton, the hands are forward, right? And the femurs are slightly externally rotated. And it's not huge. It's like so unsexy. But it allows us to not get too much upper butt, right? When you turn out too much, you get a lot of upper butt squeezing and sacrum squeezing. And that's a lot for a lot of people. So it's a little more natural. So for me in single leg stretch, I don't even notice. Like it's really funny because I actually think today AM class asked me about that, and it's the first time anyone's ever asked me if you're turned out or parallel. So it's just really funny. Like I'm trying to like look at my body, and the way you're holding the leg is so that it comes in straight. This would pull the leg out to the side. You're holding the leg like this. Now, if on the way out, it did a little tiny external rotation, tiny, I don't think that's a problem, but you don't need to teach that because it's just going out and in. So it's more parallel. Whereas double leg stretch is the slight turnout because the toes are apart, so the knees are apart. Yeah. So yeah. So welcome to feeling good, I guess, Amy, full permission for it to feel really good. But the thing that everyone has to get better at, and it's the thing that I see, is people get real delicate with the leg. They're like, oh, I bent it. So the goal is to give me whatever knee hip flexion you can while still pushing the leg into your arms. You still have this push pull going on so that your upper back is working. And what happens is I just see people like they grab it and they grab it. And it's got to be a row, right? And that's because we got to wake that upper back up for where we're going. Yeah. Um, Carrie had a question.
So in the single leg circles, rather than a hip click, I click at my sacrum just on my right side. And I'm not sure if that's like part of where I herniated my disc, like that kind of injury, or is there something that I can do differently to make that not click?
That's not fun, Carrie.
No.
Can we go over and do single leg circles? Let me just see if this one hand position helps you. Can we try that? Okay. All right. Um, okay, so it's your right one? Yeah. Okay, so let's take that leg up. Okay, so first of all, right here, your hip is actually hiked. So if you have any asymmetries, it's not going to be awesome. So we're going to lower this leg and then, yeah, kind of get to where the hips can be even. Okay, now push into me. Nope, that's your knee. So yeah, push from here. Keep pushing from the back of your leg. Yes. Okay, feel okay so far in your sacrum? Circle your leg and push into me. Circle your leg and push into me. Circle and push into me more. And let's get a little bigger and just keep me posted on that clicking. Push into me more. Push into me more. And more. And reverse. And push into me and push into me. How are we doing? Great. Okay. So rest. I think you can still do them. I think it's a fast problem. I think that there might be something on in your pelvis that a chiropractor could help you with. But I think whenever there's a click or a clunk going on, it just means there's muscles that are, yeah, Vero.
I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought. I just had a follow-up question.
Okay. Yeah. So whenever there's hip clicks or clunks, it's a sign that there's muscles overworking on one side of that body part and other muscles are underworking. And so we have to get them to equally work. And so a touch cue like that can help her figure it out. And then we need to get bigger, right? We need to challenge her to get bigger. It might not be on the mat that we do that. It might be on the Cadillac that she gets to explore that, right? But first of all, if her hips are off, there's no point in her leg going up because it's just going to grip into the hip flexors. And so then we're circling from the hip flexors. So for her, we have to get her to get the strength in her hamstring and her glute and her stomach to support the pelvis being equal while it's circling. And then once that gets easier, then she can get bigger and we can see, oh, we went too high, hiked up again, right? It's okay to mess up. It's okay to like test out the waters on a good day. So on a good non-clicking day, she should always test it. But we might test it more with springs and straps first. And then, because we'll teach her body what she needs. Yeah? Yeah. Vera, what was your follow-up?
You answered it actually, because that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, would it be at that point appropriate to like take them over to the tower of the Cadillac and put a spring on their leg and help
Yeah,
them?
so I would call those your exercises. And so I wouldn't move her off the mat unless it was like just every exercise was just like, click in and disconnected. I would actually finish the mat series I was going to do with her and then go to the reformer or the tower, right? So Joe, you would always do what your version of the order was. So some people would have, it's the same order, but some things are more omitted, right, from you. You would always do your mat or your reformer, the whole thing. And then you would go do other stuff. And you may use that stuff to warm up the next time. So I might go, wow, she had a lot of success with the spring. So I might do some tower springs with her to warm her up and then do the mat, right? But I'm not going to go mat, tower, mat, reformer, this. I promise you, like that is that's an option, but it's not actually helping people do a workout. It's more PT. So if you're a PT person, do it. I'm not a PT person, so I have to use exercises to teach the body. So I always want them to flow, so they're getting what I am in the scope of doing, which is teaching a workout. And then they have their exercises. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Other questions that came up from those several. Oh, feels good. Alyssa, do you have a question? You look like you have a question.
Oh, I'm rolling on my roller.
Oh, okay.
I'm rolling
Good
out
for you.
something in the butt. I'm
Good.
so sorry.
No,
Yeah, it's been
enjoy.
awesome
Good for you.
though. Everybody
Okay.
else's questions are really answering a lot of mine, so I appreciate it.
Perfect. Okay. So let's quickly do the last several exercises that I wanted to get to. And then you guys are going to move again. Okay. So we have double straight leg stretch, crisscross spine stretch forward. All right. So we go from, did I spotlight it, guys? I did. Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. So you are in a single straight leg from here, then the legs go together, hands interlaced behind the head, and you're in a nice curl. And you're going to squeeze the legs together and lower and lift. And how low do you go? As low as you can keep your head and chest curled up without leaning back, right? And Joe might even have you go low and then halfway up, and then low and then 2/3 of the way up, and then low and then all the way up, right? So it is a slight turnout for that one. Then you pull one knee in and reach the other leg out, and now you're in a crisscross. The hands didn't change. I'm still pushing my head into my hands, and it's not the elbow that comes over, it's the armpit. And then the armpit, and then up and over, and up and over. And like 3 is really good, and you have to curl up in between. And then you get to sit up and do your spine stretch forward. So there's this version of spine stretch forward. You can do that. Jay always did this one. So I really like it. Also, here's what I learned this one from a long time ago, but I actually find people do this a lot. And when you put the hands down, it kind of reduces, it doesn't mean they still won't, but it kind of reduces the shoulder rounding, right? So the hands are here. So you got to dig the heels down. And it's not that the knees push down, but my thighs and heels can push down. So guess what? I can get this little butt squeeze going on. So I don't tell people to squeeze their butt when they're lying on their back because they'll tuck. But if you're sitting on your butt, you can actually literally say squeeze your butt and people can't. They just go like this. It's really fun. So it helps those people who have really hyperactive hip flexors, right? And then you sit tall, and when you round, it's that same thing that we're talking about with the roll up. I can go as far forward as my sacrum can reach down. And I pulse 1, 2, 3, and lift. So I don't want to go too far forward and flatten the back out because now I'm not stretching the spine. I really want to feel the tailbone and the crown of my head going away from each other to stretch the spine. 3 pulses, reach. And reach. Yeah. Whew. And what's so fun is like these are so warmed up. I can feel these working so that like when I slip onto my stomach or do all that stuff, then those are ready to go. Yeah. So let's have Christine come back up here and she'll do double straight leg stretch. All right. So interlace. Yeah. And legs up. Okay. Lift your head and chest up. And it's because she can really lock those knees out and they look so good. Yeah. So squeeze here more. Okay. Yep. And we've got that tight upper back we're going to work on. Yes. Now she's going to lower her legs and lift. And we're going to try not to move from the ribs to the crown of your head. Just going to stay. So see how it wants to come up more? Fix there. Yeah. Find this. And then lift. Yes. And one more. Lower and lift. Yeah. Fun. Now bring one knee in, crisscross. So this leg has to stay along the midline. Hers wants to go across her body to get to her armpit. So she's got to move your knee to me. Move it out to me more. There you go. Now curl up higher. So we got to go here. That's up. Then we go up and over. And you got to lift that and twist. Yes. And pull this knee in more. Yes. And the knee, but not across your midline. Yes. I know. Yeah, you curl up higher on this side better. That side is not so fun for you. So hold it, less twist, more curl up. Yeah, there you go. Woo. That fun? Sit on up. Line chest forward. You have to do the C shaper before you leave this weekend, okay? All right. Sue's going to teach you. Okay, round forward. So we did this earlier when we were talking about spine shapes. We already know that she likes to flatten here. Yeah, but we're not going to take this back to round there. Yeah, you have to lift this up. Oh my gosh, there you go. And lift up. Yes. So one of the ways we can help her is I can be her wall and she can't push into me. She can't leave me either. Where's your sacrum? Thank you. Right? And then roll up. And her sacrum stays touching mine. Yeah. So sometimes it's feedback that she needs. Ooh, good. Okay. All right. Everyone else's turn. Isn't that great? And that's a warm up. Yeah. All right. Alyssa, can you curl up higher? Sarah, you too. We need a little bend in that upper back. I know it's tight there. Yes, that's good. Yeah. And so low ribs are taking up space. Yes. And Amy's dog is helping hold her chest in place. And Carrie has to stay curled up in the middle. Yes, Carrie, in the middle. Yes. Good job, Anne. Lift your chin up and lower the lip. Yes, ma'am. There you go, babe. And then, yeah, so good. Mm-hmm. Sue, look at your center. So it's out of your eye, out of your neck. Yes. And then push your head into your hands. But look at your center. Don't look at my ceiling. It's not sexy. There you go. Yeah. Laura, that's already better than when you did your 100 earlier. Yeah. And so, Vero, if I was there, your frontal hip points need to lift up. So tailbone down into that crack in your mat more. Yes. And so round forward and then reach your frontal hip points up, tailbone down. It might even feel like you're tucking a little bit. Yes, ma'am. Oh, that looks like it's a longer. That's hard for you because that's your tight spot. That's why you feel like your butt's in the way because that's the spot. So if I was there, I would literally like take my hands into your like thigh crease and like pull your pelvis bones up. Ah, yeah. Melissa, put your hands on the mat and then it's not a hinge. So dive into the water, head in and around. Yes. Now hold it right there. And same thing as Vero, lift your hip points up. Yes. Now pulse forward, but lift your hip points up. Yes. Drop your head. Drop your head. Yes. Now it's part of your spine. There you go. And then Sarah, narrow your feet as wide as your mat. Yeah. Spine stretch forward is just the width of the mat. And then round. Yep. And then this is that spot in your upper back that doesn't like it. So keep going. You get to reach a little further. And yeah, yes. And good lift of the hip. I like it. Yeah. Good. How'd it feel, Carrie? Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy, especially when our upper backs just get tight. Yeah. Good. Questions?
That spine stretch forward felt amazing.
Yeah, do you feel
Because
that?
I
And
actually,
like for me, I feel like the fascia is just like, yeah.
Yeah. And particularly my low back, because before when I've done it, I can reach all the way through my mid back, but I hadn't managed to find that low back stretch piece. So that felt really good.
Yeah, that low back stretch, it really is. So we're talking about these bones here, right? When you round forward, they're not going back. So I'm not asking you to tuck. It's that they're trying to lift up to your ribs. And so this is going straight down, right? And some people, it might feel like they're tucking, but they're not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Any other aha moments, wonders, worries, concerns? Yeah, Laura. And then Anne.
I feel like I've been doing Pilates wrong for the last 11 years.
Well, that's a really strong statement. Wrong is such a harsh word. It's very
Well, just different.
yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. Your teachers 11 years ago did the best they could. And the people who taught them are doing the best they could. And training programs are really just depending on the training program you went through, might be designed to help you teach but not do. Or they might be helping you get through it because they need you to teach. And they also, that's not how people who study with Joe learn how to teach. They study with him for years. You know, the reason I started this program, I'm going to mute you, Laura, just because we're having feedback. The reason I started this program and I didn't have a years of teaching rule is because I felt like if you wanted to learn this at 2 years of teaching and you were ready to take it on, then why not? Right. And a lot of people like Jay and a lot of people who are like him, you'd be teaching for 5 years. They wouldn't even talk to you. The reason is because a lot of the questions you have, in theory, you would learn at some point in 5 years of teaching. What I have discovered is that it really depends on the teaching environment that you're in and the teachers that are around you and what the goals of the place you're working at emphasize. And so if you are in a place where you're emphasized on being a good teacher because your classes are full, you're not as focused, and not on purpose. It's completely just, you're not as focused on like, is my form, am I finding all the connections? Right? So the beautiful thing about this program is that I actually don't care where you teach or what you teach or who you I don't care. What I care about is, are you finding the connections and can we see them? And you might not right now. You might not see the connections or the disconnections yet. It might take some time. And what's so cool about this environment is we have the video to look back and watch different bodies and see. And just because I didn't say anything doesn't mean they're connected. Because I like to just watch people. I got really good with Jay at just watching people. I never used to do that. That was not how I was taught. I was taught to like correct and cue and correct and micromanage, and like, because of my value as a teacher was in my words and how many words I could spew at you, right? That's what I thought. But really our value as teachers is like, can we give them the exercises that they need? Right? Can we allow them to feel independent in their bodies? We're not going to be with them to tell them to step right and then left and breathe. So I understand that sentiment, Laura. I really do. Even with my first training being what it was, not very different than my second training, I still felt like I was like, well, I learned everything wrong. Because then they taught me, well, like, no, start with the ideal in mind and then modify as you need. Right. And I was like, I've been teaching everyone from tabletop. And I've been correcting every rep after the first two, And so, but no, it's actually just like you're ready for more. And so you are actually able to see and feel more. Not everyone is ready. So other people would come into this and go, what are you talking about? This is stupid. I'm going to just go do some jumping lunges over here because it pays me. Like, it depends on where you're at. You're ready for this. The other thing is like, you have to be kind at the journey that got you here, because you probably wouldn't be here had you not had it. And you are all here in this time together, not by happenstance. This is serendipitous, and you're all going to learn from each other's bodies. Right. Like, and so like, I would just say, like, be really, really kind to yourself that you find, and also celebrate that you gave yourself permission to be in the space, to listen and to challenge yourself. A lot of people come to a class I teach and I change some things up and they're like, I like it like this. And I don't know why you're here. You don't have to teach it like I do when you're done, but you wanted to learn this. So why don't we see if you might like this variation for your body, but not someone else's body. That's fine. It's totally fine. Now you have the opportunity to decide though, and you have the knowledge to choose. And that's really the goal. It's not that you sound like me or you do it exactly like me every time. It's that you take it back and go, in your variety of stuff that you have, what's the best thing right now for these people to be the most connected? And when you do it like that, then it's great. And that's all we can ask for. So you've not been doing it wrong. You've been doing it differently. And now you get to do it with even more connection. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you had your hand up.
So I have a question about the crisscross. So how do I bring my back up enough so I feel like I can't ever get up high enough to reach the armpit to the knee, but then it's also so much in my low back? And do you cross the midline?
Great questions. So some things are like suggestions.
Okay.
Right? So the armpit and the knee are aiming for each other, but your knee doesn't get to cross the midline.
Okay.
So if you get your upper back to do it, I mean, that's amazing. But the knee stays in line with its hip. And you try. First of all, by the time you get to crisscross, you are tired. Let's just be honest. Okay. Second, it's the first upper body twist that we're having. So it's going to be what it's going to be. Second, too slow sucks. Don't be quick. Don't hurry. Right. So like twist and try to, and take a beat, but that beat can be a millisecond. It doesn't have to be a whole second. And then twist, take a moment, juice it out. Right. But like, I would just say, like, where you're feeling in your low back always, or when do you feel it in your low back?
when it comes up to the twist and trying to lift up.
Can I see you do it? Is it going to bother you too much?
No, that's fine. No, I'm trying to
Okay.
go up.
Well, put your hands behind your head. Yep. Interlace them. Bring one knee in and one leg out. Okay. Hold it right there. Stop. So, keep the one knee in, unwind, and just curl up in the center. So don't twist, unwind. Curl up in the center. Perfect. Okay. One knee in, one leg out. Okay, hold. Now open up your elbows. And all I want you to do is twist to this knee. Okay, hold, curl up to switch. Curl up to switch. Okay, open up your elbows. Curl up to switch. All right, go to the other side. Yep, keep moving. Don't stop. Just keep moving. Okay, get your chest higher as you go through center. Chest higher through center. There you go. Already getting better. Already getting better. Rest. So your knees are going either across your midline or away from your midline. They're not staying parallel. So that tells me there's tightness in your hips, which is probably what's pulling on your back.
Okay.
So you can do another exercise. Same thing. This is how we can modify, but keep the integrity. So lie on your back, hands behind your head, bend your knees. Okay, place one foot on the floor though. Yep. Okay. Bring the other knee in and twist to that one. Curl up and twist. All right. Now come back up and curl up to that. Now, when you switch the legs, you have to curl up through center. So put the foot down, but curl up through center. Put the foot down. Yes. Now switch and go. This better on your back?
A lot better.
Okay, great. So now I would say that's your crisscross until we can get the upper body to be wide, strong, and twist.
Okay.
Okay. Because right now there's too many things that are going awry. Your hips are tight, the hips are rocking, your chest is having a hard time staying curled up. Let's just take the bottom half out of it. And do you see how we modified it? We didn't just leave the legs down. We just put one down that helps anchor the pelvis. And now we can focus on the upper back. Once you get the upper back going, then we can add the legs in. Okay.
Okay. That was helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Vero. And then Christine.
I was just having actually a moment of appreciation for Pilates in the sense that I just did my strength training this morning. And as much as I love it, it's like, you set yourself up, you get into your form position, you do the set, then you reset, then you go back. And, I think because I come from the Pilates world, it's like I'm able to maintain somewhat of the connection between sets. Whereas I think for most people, that must be really hard. And I thought, what a gift it is in Pilates that like every single exercise is requiring that connection constantly and consistently. So you don't lose it in that whole block of time that you're in the practice.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so it creates stamina and endurance. That's why it's so good for endurance sports lovers. And it's so good for people who are needing to do cardio practice, but it's also so good for longevity, right? Yeah. And also like I couldn't do the strength training I do if I didn't have Pilates because I think it'd all be in my back. Just because my back's so flexible. So yeah, I love that appreciation. Thank you. Christine, and then I thought I saw one more hand going up. So Christine, go ahead.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on having clients touch themselves to help make them these connections? I know as a hypermobile body, like when I was doing spine stretch forward again, it was really helpful to try to mimic what you were doing and just put my hand back there and try to keep, you know what I mean, to use my own hand as a cue for myself. So what is your thought on using clients' own hands on their own body to help them find that tactile cue for themselves sometimes?
I love this question. I think it's going to depend on the exercise. So for you, I think I probably would use a wall instead of your hands because then you don't have to take away the arm part of the exercise, which is so helpful in finding the lift, right? That arm back connection. But in other things, like sing and double leg kick when people are twerking. Like on their stomach, if they lift their butt up every time they kick their legs, I absolutely have them put their own hands in their hip creases because I want them to feel what I need them to feel what their hips are doing at their own hands, right? Because they can't feel like the hip flexors don't really have a feeling, but if they put their hands there, they can feel, right? So I think, or like sometimes I'll have people put their hands on their ribs here to help them breathe and see if they're breathing here or they put their hands, you know what I mean? So sometimes the answer is yes. The other thing is like, can I use a wall or equipment to be the hands? And if I can, that's what I want to do. But it depends. So I would say like use your best judgment. And then also just like anything, after a couple reps, have them do it out. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Because we don't want them to be like, well, this is how I do my spine stretch forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, but yeah, you totally can, especially if it's a class. Also, what I do with duets and small groups is I just make them do what I did to you, which is like put their backs to each other and do it. And that's really fun because it's a fun shared experience. And then they can feel what the other person's doing. And they usually, because they don't know the person, they're like on their best behavior and all of a sudden they get more ahas, you know? So yeah, yeah. So I don't mind it, but I would just use your judgment. I feel like if their hands then take away from them getting the exercise, maybe find another way. Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is like, what I will say is the more you start to be in tune with how this is a system and how the exercise, there's other exercises that can teach what you want. Sometimes you make things up on the fly you've never done before. Like there'll be things I'll say in this weekend that I won't have said in the AM group that I've never said in eLevate ever, based on what your bodies are doing and how I'm like feeling it in my bodies to tell you. So what I'll say is like you might do that for one person and never do it again for anyone else. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Was there any other questions? Okay. So 5 minute bio break because you guys are going to move again. Okay. So at the hour, we are going to do the mat work. You are not performing for me. This is for you to compare yourself to yourself and for me to see where we're at. Cool. So go ahead and do your little bio break. You do. Yes, you do because you want oh because you're on that mat. Then you don't. No, you'll just know where you're looking for yourself. Okay. Um. All right, gorgeous people, you ready? So stand at the top of your mat. So here's the deal. Remember, we're going to move with zest, but you're just going to omit whatever exercise isn't right for your body. You're not performing for me. You can just repeat something we already did. This is for you. All right. And this is also where we're going. If you are not moving tonight, will you just go camera off? So on the replay, you don't have to look at yourself watching everyone. Yeah. Okay. You get to come back on, so don't go away. But yeah. All right. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. Just be mindful that you don't hit the camera, but you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'll need your fabulous thing on. Okay, guys, stand at the top of your mat. Does everyone have a dowel? Somehow Sue needs a dowel again. Sue, grab a okay, great. All right, guys, cross one leg over the other, one arm over the other, and lower yourself down. And then lie on your back. All right, take your arms overhead. Notice what's touching the mat. And then take your arms even further over and take a deep inhale. Exhale, curl up for your version of the 100. Yeah, and pump your arms. Yeah. And after you're done with it, you're going to lower the legs down, flex your feet, and go into your roll up. So 3 roll ups. Use a strap if you have one. And don't forget, we did that really fun thing where your arms stayed by your ears the whole time and you were better. Yes. Nice. Really nice. Everyone looks so good. Legs together, Carrie. All right. If you're doing the roll over, go into it. If you're not, just repeat your roll ups. We'll just do 2 rollovers in each direction. Bye. Sorry, guys. Everyone is distracted by my sliding glass door that opens on the dog's request. So the dogs opened it up. They have the ability with their collars. All right, single leg circle. So one leg up and do 3 circles in each direction. Yeah, and you can do the hip lift one or the hip down, whatever you want. After 3 in each direction, scissor switch your legs. And then roll up for rolling like a ball. All right, after 3 rolling like a ball, 3 single leg stretch. Heels together and on your roll up. On your rolling like a ball, heels together. There you go, babe. Yep. And then one knee in, one leg out, and pull, pull. Yeah, pull, pull. And then double leg stretch. There's a bit shoulder mobility going on there. Yeah, see if you can find the shoulders on your back and keep the lift. Better. Yeah, I love that. Love it. Single straight leg stretch, 3 on each side, and then double straight leg stretch. And then hands behind your head and double straight leg stretch, lower and lift. So Anne gets to practice curling her head up here. Carrie gets to practice curling her head up here. Yes, and then one knee in, crisscross, three each side. So Anne's gonna do her special crisscross. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And Amy's gonna stay curled high to the other side. You and Gwyneth have the same crisscross. Genetic. And then come on up for your spine stretch forward. All right, 3 times. Reach forward, flex your ankles. The legs are only as wide as your mat, not wider. After 3, you'll do open leg rocker. Vero, just be careful because your dog is on your mat. hmm Point your feet, Laura. And Christine, elbows straight when you go back. So your legs can be bent, but your elbows are straight. And then stay at the top, close the legs, open the legs, close the legs, open the legs, and then flex your feet and grab your ankle or your toes, excuse me, and then rock back and up, or you reach for your toes. You can just reach for them. So yeah, squeeze your legs together, Sue, and just reach for your toes. And now rock back, reaching for your toes, and rock up, reaching for your toes. That's it. That's going to help you. Yeah. And then saw, if you can, legs wider than your mat. My Cadillac ladies, don't do that. Okay. Sit up nice and tall and twist. Twisting around. Pulse 3 times. Palms face down the whole time. Yeah, and stay in the twist, and then twist and reach. Once you're even, flip onto your stomach for your swan. Wait, did we do corkscrew? We skipped it. Did we do corkscrew? All right, you guys lucked out. We skipped corkscrew. So sorry. That goes after open leg rocker. Now onto your swan. You lucked out. Go ahead, flip on over. We skipped it, so we'll just keep moving. So swan, saw swan onto your stomach. So hands can be underneath your forehead, or they can be to the sides on your handles or off your mat. And go ahead and find your version of swan. Just 3 of them. And if you want to do some drop catches, you can. And then go into your do a child's pose, and then go into your single leg kick. Bam. Do something. Out or in. All right, prop yourself up on your forearms. Do the pointed foot the whole time and just see what happens. So it's just a pointed foot, kick, kick, switch, kick, kick, switch. There's a lot of people who add that point flex, and I find people just do it from their calves and they're not getting the hamstring. So just kick, kick, reach, kick, kick, reach. Eyes up, chest up, and awesome double leg kick. Hands behind your back. Look to one side. 3 kicks. With pointed feet, and then feet down, arms up. And look to the other side. And get your hands as high up on your back as you can. Let the elbows drop down. And reach. Good. All right, when you're even, sit back, child's pose. Awesome. Come out onto your knees after your child's pose. Grab your dowel. Nice stretch. Arms up to the sky. Knees are a fist distance apart. So you just fit. You're good to go, babe. And then lower your arms, lean back. And lift up. Yeah. Melissa, you're kind of going into camel. So see if you can lead with your thighs. Lower the arms, lean back, thighs. Sarah, as you come up, it's a little bit of a arched upper back. So see if you can come up with those arms and then pull your ribs wider. Yes, ma'am. There you go. One more. Oh, Christine, I think you're sitting back, babe. And then up from there. Better. Good. All right, neck pull. Use your strap if you have it. If not, Feet are a hip distance apart, hands behind your head. And remember, it's not fun to rest, so don't. All right, exhale over those legs. Pulse 1, 2, 3, sit tall. And round back. So no hinging is necessary. Round over your legs, pulse 1, 2, 3, sit up. And then stay tall. Just pull your stomach back. Skip the hinge. No more hinging. Skip the hinge because y'all just fallen. Round forward. Sit tall. Listen up. No hinge. Just pull your stomach back. Much better. That's great. Okay, great. Do one more if you want. And then high scissors, high bicycle. If you're not doing that, you're replacing it with something else that strengthens you. So elbows bend into the mat, palms up, knees into your chest, and then lift your hips up. Sarah, get both legs a little higher. Right now you're in a high bicycle setup, so I want the hips higher. So bring your knees into your chest first. Yeah. Just put your butt down, put your hands down. Just bring your knees into your chest and lift your hips up, like rolling like a ball. Lift your hips up. Yes. Now put your hands back there and lift your legs straight up. Yes. Thumbs with your fingers. Now one leg forward and one leg up. Melissa, both legs are up to the ceiling. One leg forward, one leg straight up. Nope, no splits, straight up. Okay, we're going to work on this tomorrow. Bicycle away. So now, Sarah, your hips can tip and you can bicycle. Exactly, yes. And then you'll transition after you do a couple in each direction into your shoulder bridge. And your hands can be underneath your hips for shoulder bridge or they can be by your side. Great job, Sue. You found it. I love it. Also, Laura did too. Wonderful. Okay, hips up. Do your shoulder bridge. So arms are down by your side. Vero, your foot can be a little further away from you. Christine, the same thing. Your feet they're not super close. Yeah. And then 3 straight leg kicks up with a pointed foot and a flex foot down, and then switch sides. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. What are we doing? Oh, spine twist. Sorry. I should have told you. Spine twist, sit on up, legs together, 3 times each way, and then into your jackknife 3 times. Amy, lift your heart a little bit. Nice. And that's getting bigger. That's going to help your crisscross, babe. All right. Then, what are we doing? Jackknife. I already told you that. Jackknife. Go for it. So lie on your back, arms are down by your side. And this one, Vero, you can roll like a ball into jackknife. So you can roll like a ball, put your arms down, lift. Yes, ma'am. And then roll like a ball. Yeah, exactly. You did it. Roll like a ball, jackknife. Exactly. And you can do the same thing. You can roll like a ball into jackknife. So roll back, lift, and then bend your knees and roll up, roll like a ball. Yep. Try not to let the feet touch the floor so you got control. Yeah. After 3 jackknife side leg kicks, we'll just do the front back on each side. So line up on the back edge of your mat. Elbows to the back edge. So Laura, look at your elbow. It should be on the back edge of your mat. Hips. And then feet go off your mat. So you can use your moon boxes or go off the mat and then kick to the front 1, 2. Obviously stay on your Cadillac. All right. 1, 2 to the front and 1, 2 to the back. Point that foot. You're good. And are you at the back edge of your mat, babe, with your elbow and your shoulders? Back edge. Yes, ma'am. There you go. All right. All right, loves, flip over, other side. You can just roll over. Yeah. Like you're rolling over in bed. Yes. And then Sarah, make sure that your elbow, shoulder, and hips are at the back edge of your mat too. So you've got all the space you need. Yeah. There you go. And then your legs can be forward. So that way you get that foot off the mat. There you go. Perfect. And kick and reach. Point the foot forward, point the foot back. Awesome. All right, lie on your back, your version of teaser. Maybe you roll like a ball into teaser, or maybe you lie on your back and you roll up and just do teaser one. Up to you. Here we go. Alley-oop. Lift your arms up, roll your upper back down, and roll up. And lift your arms up and roll your upper back down. Nice. You're trying to get your arms, for those who can do this, you're trying to get your arms to touch the mat before your head. So you're actually not letting your arms. Yeah, that's it, Sarah. See if your arms can touch before your head. Yes, and then come back up. Yeah, mean. Lower and lift the legs 3 times. Good. And then everything down, everything up. No rest at the bottom, Laura. That's not fun on those ribs. We already know what your ribs like to do. Awesome. Hip circles. I forgot this morning. Not today. Here we go. Here we go. Take those hands back and take them wider and further back if you need to. Yeah. And then circle. I would take your arms wider and further back and wider and further back. Yep. Now take your legs up. And then not so high. Yeah, there you go. And go faster. It sucks going slow. And then once you finish, flip onto your stomach. Yeah, do not go slow on these. They're not meant to be slow. And then reach your arms forward. Lift everything up. And swim. Good. Sit back, round your spine. Good. All right, and don't forget to round your spine before you go into leg pulls. All right, home stretch, leg pulls. So tuck your toes, come into your plank, lift one leg, point the foot, rock back, forward, switch. So reach back, reach forward, switch. The leg goes up, but the hips are not going up. Okay, and then flip over if you know the transition, do it. If you have shoulder stuff, no, just flip over. We'll work on it later. All right, so here we go. Hands, fingertips face you. No, you're perfect. Stay where you are. Fingertips face you, and then lift your hips. Yeah. And then Christine, less high with your leg and more under with your pelvis because it's dipping down. So your tailbone needs to reach for your heel. Yeah, it's like it's trying to go to the ceiling. Yes. Good. And then you kick. Sarah, same thing. Do one kick per leg. So it's left, then right, then left, then right, then left, but less up because your quad is taking over. So go more forward. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, even less so that quad doesn't take over. More. Yeah. Like 80% it. Better. Already better. Good. All right. Kneeling side kicks, guys. Yeah. Everyone wants to touch the ceiling, but if your hips drop and your hip hikes, there's no point. All right. So tip to one side and double check your hand is underneath your shoulder and your hip is underneath your knee and you didn't lean off it. And then front and back with that top leg. We'll do front, back. See if that leg can get a little higher, Anne. Yes, there you go. Awesome. Other side. And the toe can just stay pointed the whole time, Carrie. Awesome. Side bend. So hand, double check it's in line with your flexed feet. And your feet can be stacked if they want. It's harder or staggered, top foot forward. And then alley-oop up and then bend your knees and come down. Lift the hip. Yep. Good job. Yeah, you're fine. It's just going to make noise. Yeah. Good. All right. Switch sides. We'll do the extra credit stuff tomorrow. And lift. And see if you can get your feet to stay in one spot. So once you get there, try not to move the feet around so much. Yeah, it's not easy. No, we'll talk about options tomorrow. Okay. Boomerang. Cross your straight legs. Round over your legs and lift your legs up to you. switch the cross. And then Sarah, you just got to double check that bottom foot wants to flex. And so it has to stay pointed. Yep. And then it's a rolling exercise, Sarah. So we actually get to remove that extra teaser. So take your hands by your thighs, rock back, switch quick. And then instead of stopping at teaser, just round forward and reach your arms back behind you. Reach them behind you. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then counter stretch all the way down. And again, one more. I learned that teaser one too. And it's a rolling exercise. So that teaser was added in. It's all about just roll and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. Seal. So bend your knees, reach down, grab your feet. Open, close the legs. And Christine, get the inside of your feet to touch, not the soles of your feet. And yeah, exactly. Beat 3 times, rock back. Melissa as well. It looks a little bit like they're trying to do the bottoms of the feet. Do the inside of the feet. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah. If you get stuck, yeah, it's all right. You're learning a new inner thigh connection. So 3 to 4 seals and then go into your crab. Sarah, I just thought you really liked boomerang. Sorry. I thought you were just really trying to find it. I was like, okay, she can keep doing it. Like, that's fine. Awesome. All right. After a few seals, crab. And be more concerned with the ribs lifting up. So when you get onto your head, lift your ribs higher. That's it, Sarah. Beautiful. Love that, Christine. Yes. And you don't have to go on top of the head. But tomorrow, don't let me forget to show you guys how you can go into a headstand. Awesome. Okay. Flip onto your stomach and go into your rocking. And bend your knees and grab your feet and then use your legs. So less head, more legs. Lift your legs, Sarah. That's it, babe. Lift the legs. Melissa, get your head involved though. Lift your head up. Melissa, lift your head up. There you go. Now lift your legs and lift your legs. And yes. Oh, and I like what you're doing. Amy, a little narrow with those knees. And Sue, way to make a modification. Laura, you too. Great. Sit back. Everyone, child's pose. I love it. Everyone gave themselves what they needed. You guys are so amazing. All right. Control balance or whatever you want to challenge yourself with. Lie on your back. Take your legs overhead. Reach around and grab an ankle. And then reach one leg to the sky. Yes. And then switch. So my peeps doing control balance, the leg that's in your hands is reaching back instead of down. So less to the floor and more to the back of the room. Yeah. And the leg that's up is getting over that hip and going to the ceiling. Yes. Yep. Good. And then when you're even, legs together and roll up to standing. All right. Turn around, face your mat, arms up, circle them around in front of your feet and walk out into your push-ups. And Sue, you can just rest in between because I don't want you to hit your head on things. Okay. Thanks. All right. After one push-up, roll down, walk out. Remember, the head is looking through the legs. Drop the head, drop the head. It's the last thing to go out. And then 2 push-ups. And then the head is the first thing to come in. And you walk your hands back, back, back. And then you roll up. Yes. And then you circle around. And some of you need to just look through your legs when you walk out. Look through your legs when you walk out. Drop the head, drop the head. More. Yes. 3 push-ups. And then rest. You guys did all of that in 25 minutes. I mean, we skipped corkscrew. So that would have been like 26 minutes. But like, Laura, did that feel as floppy of a fish as a few hours ago? Right.
I replaced some of
Right. So you replace some of the things that you weren't able to do with things you could, and you know it better. So now it's less of a floppy fish. Way to go. Way to go. There's nothing wrong with replacing things. Okay, if you're camera off, you can be camera on. So here's what I want. You're going to take a moment, and and August is getting all the love in the world. So here's what you're gonna do. You guys are gonna write down exercises that you've struggled with. I don't care how long the list is, just write it down. And then after you write it down, you're gonna write next to it what spine shapes you think they are. So are they flexion? Are they extension? Are they twist? What are they? And this way we can kind of see what spine shapes you're struggling with. This is just for you. I'm giving you 3 minutes to do this. So like no rushing. All right, loves. So does anyone want to share what they came up with? If you're still writing, you can still write. Oh, someone's sound's on over there. No, you want to keep your work to yourself. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll share. Um, so like again, being a hypermobile body, I find the shapes, like I can do all the shapes, but I find having the integrity and tensegrity of the two-way stretch within those shapes, and the round shapes very challenging. And it's not the same challenge in each round shape. So it's like there's areas where I know you know this because you're hypermobile people. The thoracic spine is collapsing or the lumbar spine, but it's so I just feel like the shapes are easy, but the strength of the two-way stretch, that's my area of opportunity to re-explore and just finding the strength in the shape versus just making a shape. So that's a nice area I'm feeling very challenged in and excited to explore.
Yeah, I understand that. It's frustrating, but you'll get there. What I would say is like focus on one part of the 2A reach at a time. So like maybe one day you're working out, you're trying to figure out the up reach. And one day you're working out, you're trying to figure out the down reach. But if you're trying to do both at the same time, you're gonna get frustrated. Yeah. That's what I had to do. I had to like literally just go, I can't really worry about how I'm using my legs and just focus on my arm back connection. I just have to do that. Yeah. It takes time, especially also like figuring out, especially when you're hypermobile, some of us are able to go really high in our extensions or really long or like low in our flexions. And it can feel like it's humbling or even frustrating to like lower it down. So for 6 months, I didn't do any big back bends when I worked at J Studio. Like breaststroke, I would just do the leg kicks and then reach forward. I would just stay in a tall back. I didn't do rocking. I didn't do any of the big extreme back bends because I always went my lower back. And so it looked like I was an extension and I could even rock, but I was compressing there. I was 25, so it was fine, but not fine later, right? So they were just like, just take a beat and just focus on strengthening and then bring it back. And now when I do breaststroke, I don't need a spotter. I have a really long and great breath. Like, but so sometimes it just feels frustrating because it feels like you have to go back to go forward, but give yourself that permission. Yeah. Yeah. Melissa, you were going to unmute yourself. And she left, so we'll go with someone else, but if she can. Go ahead, Carrie.
So like 90% of mine were flexion, which I think was kind of obvious with that curl up that was challenging for me today. So with that, would I just continue to work on the lift and the flexion?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Carrie, if you'll mute because we'll hear me twice. What I would say is sometimes it's easy to work on the flexion sitting up. So doing spine stretch forward flexion or rolling like a ball flexion versus from away from gravity, like lying on your back. So I would play that, the standing, the roll up into push-ups and the rolling out of push-ups. That's going to be helpful. And then we add props in when we do like the bolster and ball. I think you're going to find you really like what that teaches you. That's what I would say. Yeah. 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 There. Yes. Thanks. Okay. We're gonna have sushi tonight, guys. That's what that's about. Okay. So Vero. And then
so
Melissa.
definitely flexion is something to be working on constantly for me. But I also was thinking about the challenge I have with hip circles and leg pull front in terms of having that maintaining that tall back in those or less where there's less supporting points, less anchoring points on the mat. And I also was thinking about with the hip circles, the leg pull front in particular, being able to get a really solid hamstring and glute connection there. And feeling it so much in my knees, but rather being able to carry it more in that center, which is hard. You're booty bountiful.
Yes. So what I would say for you and anyone who's like getting in their knees and just like you're frustrated. So just fully bend the knees and do table. And just work on feeling the back of the legs turn on. So focusing on not hyperextending your elbows so that your arm back connection is holding your upper body up, and just lower the hips and lift the hips and lower the hips and lift the hips, right? Like just really feeling that out. Then taking the legs long. And what I will also say is that in the leg pull, there's a lot of pictures of these guys where their hips are like really high, and that's awesome. But that's not exactly like what it's supposed to be. So it's okay if you actually lower the hips to get the seat to reach for your heels more and feel the back of your legs more. So I actually do leg pull with my hips more low and then reaching under versus high. If I take my hips high, I get in my knees. But if my hips are a little lower and I still have the longest spine and then the back of my legs, then when I kick my leg up, it's from my center. See, a lot of people are kicking their leg up from their leg. Right. And so, yeah. So that's what I would just say is like, again, like that modification is really good because it allows you to focus on the whole back body. And then for 90 days, I did it with straight legs and I never lift a single leg up. I lifted up and I pushed into my right leg and thought about my left leg reaching. And then I pushed into my left leg and thought, so you can just feel one leg get heavier than the other one, right? And then one day, after 90 days of that, when I had to assess for Jay's stuff, on that day of testing, that's when I lifted it. And I only lifted it like 4 and 5 inches and put it down. And they gave me no notes because I was more connected. If they see people kick the leg up, but their hips drop down or their hip hikes, that is where they're like, it's like, oh, that's the move, but it's not the connection. It's not from strength. So, so I think you're fine there. It can just be holding or be table for a while and then like do a couple of those and then walk your feet out to straight legs and see if you can keep it. You can challenge yourself there. Yeah. Yeah. Melissa.
Oh, sorry. My laptop, I realized it was about to die and I was running away to plug it in
You're,
quick. Um,
you're fine.
all of this is really good. The transitions are so delicious. I really need to kind of, get into that a little bit more because I really haven't been doing that. And it goes right back into the flow you're talking about, right? Where you're trying to achieve this flow that's really moving, and when you can
Mm-hmm.
transition nicely, I just want to keep that feel. But also, I was noticing kind of like this long spine, that elongation in any of those rocking things, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's easy in that rocking motion to be like, oh, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I really want to, yeah, go to that. So that was kind of, or coming up and over from the bottom to feel that pull out. Oh, so thank
Yay.
you.
I love it. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. So fun. Anyone else? Wonders, worries, aha moments, questions? Anne, go ahead.
So mine is flexion, but also for swimming and the swan, I have a really hard time having any extension in my back.
Oh yeah. Um, bio. Thank you. Sorry. Uh, um, what I would say is like, I think I want to know what you want to think is a lot of extension in your back because longer is better than higher.
Okay.
So swimming and swan, I'd rather the extension be longer versus you being higher. Yeah. And so if that means you feel like you're low because you're working that lower back, not being the place you extend from, that's okay. Totally fine. It will get higher. So I used to have to like really work on that length because I could come up really high in my swimming with my legs and my chest and it would just be all lower back down. And so when I started to get longer, I started to get lower. And recently one of my teachers was like, Leslie, you can swim higher. And I was like, oh, I can. I can now without dipping. So yeah, I think you're in a great place. And it's just gonna be a matter of like, maybe you swim with just the upper body for a while, or you swim with just the lower body, right? And when you swan, maybe you just lift the upper body and don't worry about the lower. Like you can play with that. Yeah. So you're not trying to get everything at the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of like flexion situations going on. That's good to know. Um,
I
anyone
guess
else?
I
Go
do
ahead.
have it's my long legs. It's hard for me. So I don't know if it's flexion or extension or anything. It's just getting my legs up.
Yeah, I feel you. My inseam is 37 inches.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 5'9".
Wow.
Like my pubic bone to the floor, to my heel, is 37 inches. Brad is 37 inches and he's 6'1". So like I feel you. What I will say is you getting the back of your legs on, so your legs are working from your center, is going to be your focus because otherwise they're going to pull you out of things. So for you and I, the high scissors and high bicycle is actually very difficult because the legs are going away and there's not as much upper bodied anchor. So we actually have to really get broad shoulders and our head back and really work on that, right? So it's it's a matter of staying in the back of the legs and working in opposition to your upper body. Teaser, your legs should not go higher than your eyes. So if they're getting higher than your eyes, they're overpowering you. right? So, and then that's the hard part because they should be in line with your eyes, but they're going to be so heavy. So the more you can get the back of your legs on is going to be really key. Really, really key. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you on that. I used to have a teacher say it's your legs, you should be able to carry them. And I was like, well, it's easy for you, 5'4". Nice. Like, like even at 5'4", if you have long legs, they're not that long. So I feel like each of my legs is a child, like a whole human. Yeah, so I feel so just the stronger your hamstrings and glutes and inner thighs can be, that's going to help you a lot. Yeah. Okay, let me just make sure I say notes. All right. So, couple things, and we can take more questions because we have plenty of time for it. Please make sure that you are, I know we send a lot of emails and we send a lot of stuff. Please make sure you read them. They're all important. And we try to, now that you're in Slack, to only do it in Slack. So make sure that you're doing that. I'm not usually in Slack during these weekends because I can't monitor this and that. But if you're not connected to the calendar, make sure you're connected to the actual Google Calendar, because then no matter what your time zones are, everything will end up in your correct time zone as long as you're logged into your correct time zone. And it really helps in case anyone makes a human error, right? So please do that. On these weekends, you can always text the company, and gets those texts if you have an emergency to get hold of us or whatever. But you also can connect with your partner, and your partner can connect with us as well. But the team always puts things in Slacks if you can't find it in your calendar. Like we try to double up on that stuff, so please double check that. What you guys wrote down today, when you look at these exercises right now, and if you have like 12, like if you have more than 8 exercises, I'm going to ask you to look at those exercises and whittle it down. So if you have like high scissors, high bicycle, boomerang, rocking, control balance, and you have open leg rocker, swan, like that, let's take some of those big complicated ones and just like put them over here. Because those middle ones are where we actually can have focus, right? Like if you struggle with open leg rocker, that is going to help you with control balance. So we can have control balance, open leg rocker, all these things, but we can go, well, actually I should focus. I got to get this open leg rocker. Okay. If you realize like, wow, I have 4 extensions. Well, obviously extension is an issue, but what's the biggest one that we can just like take off and work on the others, because it will get better. And the reason I say that is a lot of exercises are truly not meant to be gotten. They're not meant to be perfected. They're always meant to reveal where we have work to do. Right? We all know that teaser is not a peak pose. It actually just lets us know we have work to do, but so is hip circles. Hip circles themselves, it's like, oh my God, why does this exercise exist? After all those teasers, now I got to swing my legs around. And it's because it's like in your stamina, did you keep everything you had for teaser or did you lose it? And then, okay, so we have work to do. So it's not about getting the hip circles. It's about letting the hip circles reveal where you have work. In the AM class, we were talking to someone because they were struggling with, they said their arms were too long. And that's why it was too hard. And it's like, or their arms in the wrong place, or their extension in their shoulders is not awesome. And so it's the hip circles is a revealer, right? Boomerang to me is a revealer. So there's going to be exercises that you're always going to want to understand, and really they're there to help you understand what you still have room to do. Right. And then there's other exercises where it's like, yeah, we need to get those because those are like the foundation exercises that are the gateway exercises for a lot of other things. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Do we have any questions about exercises from today or from your list that you want to cover? Or do we have any exercise about anything I covered today, or if you watch the AM group that you need answered? Don't be shy. I know it's the end of the night, but please, 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 your question is going to be great.
Can I ask about thigh stretch?
Yeah.
I
for some reason I've done it before. I haven't had an issue. I've been cramping all day today. Like my cat, like when I hinge back, my calves are cramping. Am I doing something wrong or not connected somewhere?
Yeah. So the fact that you're cramping,
And just on the right side.
oh, interesting. So, okay, let's talk about muscle cramps. Because Laura's from Denver, and it's a dry area, I am very interested about the cramping because Vegas isn't as high a altitude, but it's as dry. So like that shouldn't be, she can be dehydrated. She flew in today, right? So like muscle cramping can be a sign of dehydration. It could be a sign of low electrolytes. It can be a sign that you're on statins I don't know about or another drug. Or it can be that you're tapping into a muscle and it's fatiguing, right? So, and that's okay. Cramps are annoying, but sometimes you move through them, sometimes you take a moment, right? So I would need to see you do your thigh stretch. So if you want to come up here and do your thigh stretch, that would be really helpful.
Sure.
All right, go ahead. Lower your arms, lean back, and lift up. So that is so slow. So, okay. And go up. Okay, and go again. You're arching a little bit more than I want. So go back. Straight, 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 and lift up. Yep.
No, I'm not cramping.
Great.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you could have been cramping because you were like arching and like pinching into something or making something work that didn't need to.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm just gonna mute you, Laura. It's all right, just because they're hearing us twice. Slow sucks. Like it was just too slow. Oh, so precision can still happen in zest, right? But there's a difference. But if you're learning the choreography to find the precision, that's fine. If you are using, someone's got a speaker on over there. I needed, okay. If you're going slow to get it, I'm going to say go faster. Okay. Because once you know the choreography, now it's time to use breath and rhythm and remember. Yeah. So that was just, yeah, no, I mean, you're going to struggle to like, it's because it's going to be a bad habit, right? That we have to break. So every exercise has a rhythm. Use your breath. So the way you were going, there's no way you weren't holding your breath, right? Like that would be the longest inhale of life. So I think that that's it. And I think that the cramping's happening because you're making the muscle work. It's a phasic, like there's postural muscles, which are the muscles that they have endurance. They can stay on. They can go forever. Your gastrocnemius or your soleus muscle, excuse me, can do 1,000 soleus push-ups and like not get sore. Like there's just muscles in your body that are just meant to take a beating. And then there's a ton of muscles that need you to move with zest and let them go. Like they are here for a party, they're here for a good time, and then they gotta take a break. And if you go too slow, they're just not even gonna join in. And then everything else has to work. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? I slayed. I answered everything you've ever wondered about the mat. That cannot be true.
Okay, I have one more.
Okay, Amy, thank you.
Okay, so actually and then it was kind of related to my other question. Okay, single leg circle. I was taught with extreme external rotation. So when you cross, like your inner thigh should be facing your face, and then you go down, it should continue being in this external rotation through the whole circle.
I mean, I can see I can see how that would keep people from clicking their hip and get into their glute, but it's not it's not how Joe did it. Like, can you imagine Joe doing extreme external rotation?
Would you
So
let them, would you, you know how naturally it kind of turns almost, would you let them do an
I
rotation?
yeah, there's external rotation in it, but like it's not even something that like I really tell people to do unless they're turning in, right? When they turn in, then their groin takes over. Then I like tell them to externally rotate or I turn them out of their thigh. But really, I just like to see what people do with their own hip socket. Like it's up, can be slightly turned out, but like what do they do on their own? Um, it's not the worst thing in the world if they're turning out a ton. But I don't think it should be that your inner thigh is facing you. I think that that could be a little too dramatic and also might not be accessible in most people's acetabulums. Like that's just not, so I would say it's just, there's not a lot of exercises. We have extreme external rotation. Like gondola is not even a Joe thing. That was a Romana thing. That would be extreme external rotation. So like, they're just like, if I think about like, where else do we extremely external rotate? There's not, right? So like, to me, it's fine if someone wants to do that, but really, I'm more concerned if they're going to internally rotate. I don't want that because that's not going to feel good. That's going to get really groiny. And then also, like, why are they externally rotating that much? Is it to avoid a hip click? Then that tells me we have to strengthen the hamstring and glute more. And it might not be in that exercise that we do it, right? Yeah. But I don't want them to miss out on all the good stuff. So, yeah, full permission to just bring it back to mere mortal status. Yeah. Did you have two or is that the only one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love these. You know, here's the thing. Like, I don't know why a lot of people did the things that they did. And you also, like, there's very interesting things. Like, Joe would teach a client a thing for their body, and then they went out and were like, this is the way it is for everybody. Right? Like, some people breathe like this because like Joe told whoever he was working with that they were trained by to breathe so he could hear it. But that's not how he taught other people to breathe. Right? So like it's really interesting stuff. So like and his stuff did evolve. People always wonder about the archival exercises. And you know, he evolved his work from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s to the 50s. So there was evolution of things. He like things got replaced because other exercises came in there. So the like side bend replaced the mermaid, and you know, when you get rid of side sit-ups once you're doing other things, like you know what I mean? Like things just kind of I never get rid of side sit-ups. I love them, but like some things get absorbed in, right? So there's what does your body need? Does your body need it? Then do it. But like if you're doing it to avoid the weak areas you have to strengthen. Now we're just, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we have these, like, this is how I do it because we can't do it the other way or it humbles us the other way. So I would just say, like, are we doing it because we don't want to do the work to build up to it? Is it like, what kind of modification is that? And then like, was that for a person because of what they needed? Remember, like there was the bicycle seat on the pedipole was like for like a person. It wasn't for it wasn't for like no one else used it. There's like I never saw it. It was like there was like an opera thing that like it was so anyways, like some things were created just for like a person and then we're like, oh, everyone has to do it. No, not everyone has to do every exercise. Right? Not every exercise is for everybody. There are exercises that we're going to do as together on the Cadillac and Wonder Chair that like your body may never do because you might not need it or you might do it in 5 years. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready for it now. So like, sometimes there's so things, and I try really hard, and I hope I may say something that might have like go, oh, I was taught like that and it's wrong. I If I say that and it makes you feel that way, my goal is to help you go, this is what Joe taught Jay. This is what Jay taught me. And then this is, if you can like explore this and then you add it to what you have, then you can actually have more tools in your toolbox. And it might make you look at what you have and go, oh, I like that, or I don't like that anymore. Or I like that for this person. Right. So that's the goal. That's my goal here. Archival exercises. Jay would always say, like, why are you going through Joe's trash can? Um, that being said, I really like the archival thigh stretch on the reformer. It really helps me teach people what to do. So I will use it to teach things and then get rid of it. So like some of it's good, right? So like I'm gonna just say like I don't teach all the archival stuff because there's a ton of it, like the corkscrew and jackknife stuff that suck. And like like it just feels awful. And there's some things that are just massively dangerous for your springs. So I don't do those. But then there's some things I'm like, actually, that can help teach the thing that I'm trying to get them to do without my words. So yeah. Yeah. You guys are really awesome. This is really a lot of fun. I know we have a lot going on in our lives right now. I know it feels like it's never a good time to like take time out of your day or your business or your life to do this. And I know some of you joined us in the morning and for this. This is our first time letting people do that. My goal for that was just because I find sometimes people don't know what to watch on the replay. So I thought, well, if you watched it twice, then maybe that would help you. But if it's overwhelming to you, don't join the others, right? Just come to yours. Or if you are going to miss yours, yes, I'll miss seeing your face on camera, but then come to the other so that you don't miss being part of the experience, right? But please know that I know life. It is extremely important that you and your partner take time after this weekend to really be communicative around over the next several months. When can you do your assessments so that you're not late and not panicking? And when can you meet? And if you're like, oh my gosh, me and my partner can only meet twice a month for this 1 month, great. Look at all these faces. You get to go into Slack and say, hey guys, I really want to practice this. I'm available on Wednesdays at 2:00. Who can join me? And you get to work with your other people. My goal is that you don't have one friend from this and that you actually have 11 people who you get to learn from and bounce ideas off of and communicate with. And then from that, questions will happen. So please do that after this, because I don't want you 2 months down the road to be like, my partner and I can never meet. And then you lost this precious time. We understand that vacations happen and illnesses happen and things happen. Please communicate and then protect the time that you have with your partner, so that you aren't scrambling. And then above all else, make sure your self-practice is happening. I promise you, your self-practice is going to help you teach this better. It's also the way where the questions come. And so sometimes people just actually connect with someone, but they actually don't teach each other. They just do their own practice. That's fine. I don't care. This is your time to learn what you need. And if you need ideas, please bug me and ask me, ask the group. Like, don't be shy about it, because we want you to have the most amazing experience. Joy, are you still here? And then Vero, go ahead, Vero. And then as Joy comes on.
A question with regards to self-practice, like you were just saying. So earlier you said, let's leave to the side the more choreographed exercises. Let's focus on the more core ones that are the building blocks really to get to there. So when we go to do our self-practice, would you say for us also to like keep working in the order, but keep focusing more on the core ones and then kind of put the other ones in a parking lot for now?
Great question. I would say if there are exercises that are just not in your practice, yeah, omit them and really focus on the others. And then let's brainstorm what's going on in those. If you can do them, they're just a hot mess, then on the days you have time, add them in and see how they're going, but don't punish yourself. And if like for you, I know hips overhead is really hard. So like really focus on your rolling like a ball and your seal and half crab. And you know what I mean? And then like every once in a while, like let's check in with those and see how they're going. But yes, I would say, like I told someone this morning, like she listed five that are just like not in her body. I'm like, don't even just like know the order. Find people in your group who can do them so you can practice seeing them and teaching them. So like if you go, hey guys, like if you and your partner both can't do 5 exercises, and go to the group and go, hey guys, who can do these? We can practice teach on. So we can practice our eyes, right? But then don't punish yourself. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Omit what's not right for your practice. Yes. Joy, I know you have an early morning tomorrow, but do you have anything to say to these people after you got to spend their first shift with them?
Just like what Leslie is saying, keep up with your practice. There's going to be times where you're going to be too busy teaching. And I know that from my own experience because I teach a lot, and Leslie's been trying to convince me not to teach so much, but I keep teaching a lot. But every time I listen to her teach and do this, there's always tidbits to pick up. So you're not just going to get them from Leslie, but you're going to get them from each other and use each other. This works.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you. All right, loves, it's late for some of you. Poor Sarah's on the east coast of Canada, so it's so late for her. I think I got that right, Sarah. So yeah. So same times tomorrow and Sunday. Again, if you want to join the morning group, you can, and that way you can just take a lot of notes and write down your questions. If you want to skip it and enjoy your morning because you had a lot of flies in your brain today, that's fine. Please, please be mindful what you need. And I'll see you guys in the afternoon shift. All right. Take care of it. Make sure hot baths, drink water, sleep, 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 sleep. Okay. It's very important. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Thanks,
Thank you,
Joy.
Leslie.
Thanks for helping us.
My pleasure.